Night Time Radio, your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
And you can always join in the conversation on 0427 789 571. That's the number for the Retrovision text line. Of course, we're taking on today Shane Williams at Mandurah with his best bets. Listeners, your chance to go into the draw for a $100 Tab Touch voucher. Matt Young was successful yesterday. His best bet around $1.95. Diggers, Jolted Charm. Shano found 2 out of 3. Race 5, number 1-1. When he tipped it, it was at $3, and then his best $1.95, but was about $1.40. I think when he tipped it, got backed into about $1.20.
Yep.
I think by the time it jumped. And one, listeners can have their favourite Victorian Derby moments, Derby Day moments, anything like that, and also the Australian cricket team, what that lineup's going to look like. We heard from Andrew McDonald yesterday. I'll play you this, Diggers, and then we'll have a little bit of a chat about the Australian cricket team.
Yeah, we've grappled with it for a little while, and the nature of the injury is that you never know, and you're sort of taking it a little bit day by day. We've run out of time. We sort of flagged this a week or so ago that it would take sort of 4+ weeks to get him up and running, and we've run out of time, unfortunately, but really optimistic and hopeful for the second test match. So I suppose the next question is, what's the time frame? What does it look like for the second test? Not really going to be able to answer that, other than to say that he'll be back bowling this week. And that's a huge step, and that was the big variable that we wanted to add in and get that information. And so we're on the journey to that second test match, and very hopeful that will be a positive outcome.
So that's Australian cricket coach Andrew McDonald there talking about Pat Cummins. That was confirmed yesterday that he is ruled out of the first test, which was sort of had been flagged for a couple of weeks, so he won't be playing. Steve Smith here in Perth will be captaining. A blow, but of course we know that Scott Boland's next in line, so therefore not too many other countries around the world have your best bowler leave, and then you have a very capable bowler come in as Scott Boland is, and who would be probably playing on any other attack in the world.
Yeah, very much so. Look, he's a ready-made replacement. He's proven himself at international level, so there's no blues there, but you are losing arguably the best bowler in the world in Pat Cummins. Just the miserly figures that he returns, and his ability to break partnerships and take big scalps, it's unparalleled. It really is. He's just an absolute ripper, Pat Cummins, with ball in hand. So you lose that aspect. You also lose the leadership. But, you know, as much as Boland is very good, he's not Pat Cummins. And as for the leadership, you don't lose anything with Steve Smith, because we know Steve Smith as captain, tactically really astute, is very much in control of the game. And one thing he does do, his own game elevates when he's handed the added responsibility of captain. We've seen that. And you look at his figures, you look at his average when he is captain, with the blade in the mitts, as opposed to when he's not. You don't lose anything on that front.
No, absolutely not. Do we read into anything? Usman Khawaja faced the media there yesterday, and he was backing Matt Renshaw. Now he's obviously a Queensland teammate, so he's not going to do anything different, but is there anything to read into that? Is Matt Renshaw firmly in the picture to making Ashes come back in Test 1, or is he sort of on the outer a little bit?
No, I don't think he's on the outer. He's on the radar because he's made his ODI debut in the last week or so. So that tells you the Australian selectors are considering Matt Renshaw. So he's obviously been spoken about in meetings. Whether he can force his way back into the Ashes, it might be a little bit premature given the form of what Marnus has been able to produce. You've got Weatherall in the frame as well. You've got the incumbent, Sam Constas. Unless there's a dramatic form reversal from the young man, it seems like he's going to be omitted. That's the cackle. There's no, like Marnus was being spoken about in revered terms by Usman yesterday. We know that he's a supporter of Renshaw. There's talk about Weatherall, but there's no mention of Constas, who actually did play in Australia's most recent Test series, but he hasn't been in good nick, so he looks like he's going to make way. It's just a matter of who is going to be alongside Usman at the top of the order and what that top six looks like.
So Sheffield Shield action gets underway today. Victoria take on Tasmania, Queensland take on New South Wales, WA take on South Australia at the Wacker. That gets underway at 10:30. So with Marnus well and truly in the picture, and it sounds like he's probably going to play in some capacity. Should he be opening against New South Wales for Queensland?
Marnus?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Well, Usman will be opening. It's a really good question. I don't know. He doesn't do a lot of opening, that we know.
No.
Marnus. And Usman did say yesterday he would like to see him bat 3. He said the Australian batting lineup is best served when he bats 3. So whether that means Constance stays at the top of the order or whether that means Renshaw goes up there and all-weather and opens alongside, and then that shuffles Green down. So that it seems to be that Webster is sacrificial, and Constance is out of the picture. That's what it. That's what it appears like.
You'd be shocked if he plays. Constance.
Yes, agree. Yep, he'd need to do something dramatic. He would need to do something dramatic. Starting today, like if New South Wales
could Renshaw come in and open.
Could he in a test?
Yeah.
He could, yeah. He probably needs to compile just some better figures at Sheffield Shield. We know he's a talent, Matt Renshaw. He made his test debut a fair while ago, and he's made a big 100 for Australia. Like he made a 170 or a 180, I think.
180 against Pakistan.
Yeah, so he's made
the first Shield game of the year. He made a century.
Yeah, and so He's a very accomplished player, and he's far more in control of his game now than he probably ever has been. And, he's been in and out of the Australian setup. And tell me a batsman along the way who hasn't, come in, been dropped, gone through a lean patch. They all have. All of them. Even Ricky Ponting did. It's a rite of passage. You come in, you might have some success, and then the runs dry up, you find your way on the outer, you go back to Shield level or go back to one-day level, you make some runs, you're back in the frame, and then you can flourish. Hopefully Matt Renshaw, if he does get another opportunity, he can do that.
We'll have the 3 Queenslanders at the top of the order. Might end up having
3 Queenslanders who actually weren't born in Queensland, were they?
That's how it works in the Sheffield Shield.
Renshaw's where he was born in Yorkshire, England. Usman's I'm not sure. Usman might have been born in New South Wales, if I'm not apologies, born in Pakistan, raised in New South Wales, and we know that Marnus was born in South Africa. So yeah, but look, Alan Border's pushing for those 3 Queenslanders to be 1, 2 and 3. Surprise, surprise, it's that time of the year. But, yeah, these Shield games today are going to reveal a great deal.
Yeah, right. So, Matt Renshaw, he made that 120 in the first game of the Sheffield Shield season. That's the only innings he's had at Sheffield Shield level this year.
Yeah.
So, he's averaging 128.
And he hasn't looked out of place playing one-day cricket either for Australia. So, he's in good nick. He's in really, really good nick. Big match for him today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Marnus Labuschagne leads the Sheffield Shield with 337 runs. Jake Weatherald second with 236. They're the only 2 players in 2 matches. Now, Labuschagne's had 3 innings, Weatherald 4 innings to make more than 200 runs in the Shield. We've spoken about that a little bit over the last couple of weeks, that the wickets seem to be quite bowler-friendly. There's not a lot of runs being made in the Sheffield Shield.
Yeah, well, exactly. And Cam Green will play for WA. So that's important because we know
to get on the board with the win.
They need to do something in this third round of the Sheffield Shield.
Absolutely. All right. We'll hopefully find you a couple of winners on this Tuesday. Simon Wild and Brad Widdup. Not having too much luck with both gentlemen at the moment. Abbey Viddovich and Chris Halse to join us as well. We've got a little bit of racing to discuss. The Victorian Derby. We've got that on Saturday, 2,500 metres. Might bring up a discussion with you diggers as well if punters need a little bit more protection around the Melbourne Cup, because listening to a podcast there yesterday, they mentioned that news around Deakin was made public or first mentioned on a Thursday last week, and then official became on Sunday.
Was it Scuttlebutt Thursday or was it official Thursday? And it was only released over the weekend.
Well, either way, the punters, if you've backed Deakin, your money's still in your account for 4 days and you miss the Saturday. Makes it pretty difficult.
Well, we need transparency, don't we?
Absolutely.
In all facets of the industry.
Absolutely. So if you had a multi, for example, with Sir Dearlist, does that become void or do you just lose that leg?
I think it depends on who you might be wagering with.
Okay, really? Well, you probably need a little bit more protection there then.
Yes.
We've got vet scans ruling out some people. All right, so we'll take a look here at Gloucester Park. Hopefully find you a couple of winners. Abbey Viddovich heads to Gloucester Park tonight with 4 drives on the program. Abbey, a very good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you going?
Going very, very well. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Happy the sun's up.
Good, good. All right, we're looking at a top of 32 today, so it'll be a beautiful day. You head to the races today with 4 chances. Race number 3, Yawoma. What do we make of the chances here? The draw is a little bit sticky.
Yeah, it is. The first up run back was a bit unfortunate, but he done everything he could. Hopefully it works out well this time.
Where do you think you'll be in the run, Abbey?
Ideally, hopefully probably not in the breeze this time. If we can just slot in somewhere and just send him home late, that'd be ideal. But, yeah, it just depends how the race works out and what Bob wants to do. All
right, now we go ahead to race 4. You drive Wandering Girl from the pole. It looks a little bit better this race as opposed to race 3.
Yeah, I was really happy with her when I was on her the other week. She went super. If we can do a similar thing, hopefully be on leader's back, or even if weekly, we'll just have to suss it out what else comes out, and hopefully she gets home good.
All right, won't be leading though?
I'm not too sure. She's got okay gate speed, but yeah, it just depends how much pressure we get and what else comes out.
All right, better than secret in race number 5, drawn at 11. What do you make of the chances here? Probably needs a little bit of a form turnaround.
Yeah, it's my first time driving this bloke, but it's a bit awkward, but probably will just be sitting him up and send him home late.
Okay, Abbey, and you finish your commitments at GP here with a Sonic Sealster in race 6 for Matty Scott. This fellow doesn't win out of turn, but he's racing consistently.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with him, especially usually he was a mile horse last prep, but he seems to be going well over these 21s, so hopefully we can just suck along as we can and then send him home real late, top of the straight, and hopefully he gets home. He has that good turn of foot, which is good.
Yep, that's your 4 chances at Gloucester Park this evening. Who do you think is the best winning chance?
Every time I say it, I jinx it, but I'm going to lean more towards Yawoma.
Okay, Yawoma in race 3. All right, Abbey, enjoy the sun and enjoy GP this evening.
Perfect. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there's Abbey Viddovich, race 3, number 5 at Yawoma, to take ahead to Gloucester Park this evening. I don't think there are any markets up just yet at the moment. All right, hopefully by the time we get to Oli Cownie at 8:45 for a full preview of Gloucester Park, we'll have some markets up there. Taking a look at chasing, Chris Halse joins us. Chris, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, guys. Yourself?
Yeah, we're okay, Chris. Good to have a chat to you on this Tuesday morning. Not a busy night tonight at Mandurah, albeit you are going to be a little bit up and about in race 4. You've got 3 runners, Just a Princess, Lift Me Up and Blue Tears.
Yeah, the Blue Tears is his first starter. Wasn't a bad quality run last week, and stepped him up into this 488 maiden. Probably the pick of them would probably be Just a Princess. She's probably got the one with more ability than the other 2. The other 2 are a bit tardy early too. So she's probably our best chance in that race.
Can I just ask you about Blue Tears? We get to see talent levels going forward?
Yeah, look, he's just steady. Steady. He just hopefully he improves as he gets older, but he's been injury prone from breaking in. He's been a long time getting there. So when they start out that way, you normally end up just having to sort of preserve a little bit of a career to get some money back out of them for the owners.
Will box number 2 suit Just a Princess?
I hope so. I don't know. I hope so, but
we'll find out.
She's actually got a lot of ability. Just been frustrating. Justin Warwick, I was talking to Justin, but telling him it's frustrating dog to train. She probably trials quicker than most of his other dogs, and just can't seem to win a race with her. But that's just racing. She just don't know why. She'll put it together one day, I reckon. So probably when I'm not on her.
That's always the way, Chris. You know that.
One of those dogs that head home, Chris, and you think, why am I training?
Yeah. Look, actually, she's really nice to train. So she's a nice animal too, which to go with it. So she's just frustrating. She can. I tried at Cannington at 380. She went 21.60, and then she's just not putting it in a race. So it's just one of those things. Just hopefully one day the penny drops for her.
Fingers crossed. Race number 9, actually owned by Justin Morrick as well. Justin Madam, currently with Tap Touch at $9.50, but draws box number 2. Does that suit? Does this race set up all right?
Not really. She really needs to be wide. She wants to use a bit of the track. I don't know how she ended up in box 2. I think it's a preferential box draw too. So anyway, it's just she likes to use a bit of the track. So you take her on trust if you're having something on her tonight.
Okay, so we go to race 4 and Just the Princess, the best of your 4 runners this evening?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, is Linda up and about He's a Phoenix?
Yeah, she is. The trial yesterday was really good, and I think they're all up and about it, Justin, a whole lot. So
yeah,
it's a bit of fun. So that's Linda's main hobby is going to the races. So it's good for her. She gets a couple of handy ones.
While you're training greyhound, she's at the races. Is that what you're saying, Chris?
No, I get to tag along for the celebrations.
Yeah.
You know what it's like.
Yeah.
Someone's got to help out with the drinking.
Yeah, that they do. That and fishing and the odd bit of greyhound training. Hey, Chris, great to chat. Thanks for your time this morning, mate.
No worries, guys. Thanks.
There we go. There's Chris Halse. No luck at this stage with Brad Widdup and Simon Wild. We might be able to try them throughout the morning and hear from them, maybe get some best bets throughout the morning. But we've heard the Iowoma for Abbey Viddovich today at Gloucester Park, and then tonight at Mandurah race 4, number 2 for Chris Halse, Just a Princess. Currently at 2:05 with Tab Touch. Fingers crossed in about 10 minutes' time we'll try and give Shane Williams a call too. Having a few phone issues apparently.
All right. That can happen. That can happen. Yes.
Dropped my phone in the car park the other day, actually.
How did that end up?
No, we got a few shards of glass here and there, but it's still working, so that's all right.
It's always exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll turn to the Retrovision text line before we get out to the traffic. We're just chatting there about the Australian cricket team, and that's fired up the text line a little bit, Diggers. Who's this? Someone said, no, they don't want to talk about the cricket. They only want to talk about parking fines.
Oh, yeah, that was yesterday. I've moved on.
Have you?
No.
You let it go?
Well, I had until you raised it again.
I didn't raise it. It was a text.
Well, you did. You mentioned the text, so technically you raised it.
We let all the text through.
No, we don't.
The Aussie cricket team is in shambles, holding on to all these old boys, and then we criticise the young lads coming in and failing to blood the kids. That's from Taj.
Oh, harsh. I don't think they're in shambles. Like, they'll start favourites and should be beating England, I would think, here in Australia. Yes, we lost the World Test Championship. We spanked the West Indies in the Caribbean. Now, admittedly, we should have done that, but we did do that. They don't lose many series, the Australian cricket side.
No.
They're pretty bomb-proof.
Absolutely. I was going to say it's one of the more probably anticipated Ashes for a while.
Oh, yeah. I think,
just because it's even. And we sort of don't really know what we're going to get.
Yeah, and what does the England lineup look like? Is Joffrey going to be able to have an impact? You know, what does Ben Stokes look like he's going to produce with bat and ball? Is he 100% fit? You know, will Joe Root flourish down under? Finally. There's a lot of questions. Bazball, all of that discussion we know, you know, and there's going to be a great deal of chatter around Usman. If Usman fails here, and then goes in the second test and fails again, and Australia find themselves trailing 2-0, what do the Australian selectors do then? So there's a fair bit to play out, and you know, we spoke about it last week, TC. It's coming around extremely quickly. We're inside a month now. We're inside a month, so
probably can't come quick enough.
No, looking forward to it.
All right, we've found Brad Widdup. Busy morning, of course, on a Tuesday morning, but he's got some nice chances heading to Hawkesbury today. Brad, a very good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, no problem at all.
Yeah, great to have a chat to you, Brad. I know it's a busy morning over there, as TC mentioned, but you do have a couple of runners. Now, what do we make of the Biv and that first up performance in race 2 today over the 1,100 metres, this being a maiden?
Yeah, look, her run wasn't too bad. She did get held up at the top of the straight and just probably stopped the momentum. I think she's going to need this preparation. I'd sort of be I'll be treating this today as just another run. She'll go out, and I'd be waiting for next time in with her. But her run wasn't as bad as it looks on paper.
A little bit more confident taking Blue Eyed Bridget to the races in race number 3. Currently the favourite and a runner-up last time.
Yeah, look, she ran terrific. She seems in really good order. This distance, I think, what she's been looking for, like 1500 to a mile. So, I'd like to think she's knocking on the door for sure.
All right, and now in race 5, you've got Diamond Show going around. So what do we read into the fact that you're going to the races today as opposed to Rose Hill tomorrow, where she was also an acceptor?
Yeah, look, I just think she's drawn well. This field may be a smidgen easier than tomorrow, and she's got to carry a bit of weight. But, these days the weights are pretty compressed. You don't panic so much. It's not like there's 10 or 12 kilos between her and the bottom weight. So, look, I just thought it was probably a safer option today, kicking off at home.
The fact that she's on a good track today, Brad, how do you assess that given what we saw from her in the winter on rain-affected ground?
Yeah, look, I don't think it's going to be. I think the track will be firm here today. We were meant to get a bit of rain last night, didn't really come, so it's probably going to be a little bit firmer than it was last time around here, so it will be a firm track. It's probably a good question there. She might be suited, but look, the track's still in good order, but it will be firm. And look, I think she should handle it okay,
Yep, fair enough.
Who's the best push for our listeners, Brad?
Oh, look, I think I'd like to see Blue Eyed Bridget perform today. Diamond Show, I think she'll be competitive, but I think they're the 2 out of the 3 for sure. Okay,
does Jeddah Beale find his way to the Russell boarding on the weekend?
I got him in there. Horse is going great. It's a bit frustrating. We sort of haven't secured a jockey. I actually tried to get Willie over here, but he doesn't like leaving Perth, so we're just sort of keeping our options. He could go to Melbourne, but he's racing top grade in that now, so and he sort of hasn't won at that elite level yet. But I don't think he's far away if we can get the right setup and things like that. His run was terrific in the Everest, and he's not 10 lengths off him. He's just got to get the right roll of the dice. And I definitely think he's definitely of that ability. I think he can get there, but we're just got to, things got to go away, and we just haven't happened yet at the elite level.
All right, fingers crossed they do at his next start, whether or not that be on Saturday or down there in Melbourne. Thank you very much for your time, Brad, and all the best today.
Good on you. Thanks, guys.
There's Brad Widdup taking a look at his team. So Blue Eyed Bridget in race number 3 there at Hawkesbury today. His best currently at $2.25.
Okay, so he is saddling up the Biv, as you said, Blue Eyed Bridget and also Diamond Show, who was in for tomorrow at Rose Hill. But as you said, TC, that 1,500-metre maiden, Blue Eyed Bridget, who is very firm in the market, the best of those 3.
We're back with Shane Williams, and we'll also catch up with Jason Walsh from Godolphin, who might have a monster Saturday there at Flemington.
Wave Tab Radio, your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Taylor Cortland and Digby Beecham with you, and of course today's Sports Daily is brought to you by The Gate Bar and Bistro. As we said, they are hosting a Melbourne Cup luncheon, just $49. Check out all the details at thegatebarandbistro.com.au. Snoz is texting diggers to Kieran McAvoy heading to Hawkesbury for one ride today in the last. Race 8, number 2, currently the second line of betting at $4.40. First up for Chris Waller.
Right, okay.
Son of the autumn sun.
Isn't he done a marvellous job at stud?
They seem to be going okay at the moment.
Autumn Glow is the headline act, and we'll get to see her on Saturday in the Golden Eagle. Karen was aboard her when she was victorious in the Group 1, the Epsom. But J-Mac takes over on the weekend.
Is there a market for that at the moment? Golden Eagle, here we go. $2 Autumn Glow.
Well,
Panja Tower, Japanese horse.
What price?
$6.
What price linebacker?
Okay. $6.
$6 linebacker. Well, gee whiz, if she draws a gate, Autumn Glow, she's going to be awfully hard to beat, is she not?
Evaporate at 11, Seapools at 14, Willie Do It at 15, Perfumist at 26.
Just going to have a look here to see what the weather forecast for Sydney is on the weekend. They've been getting some really nice weather up there. Yeah, beautiful. 27, Sydney, a bit of rain today, a little bit tomorrow, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, no rain anywhere in the harbour city. So you'd think we'll be racing on a good 4 out there at Rose Hill on the Saturday.
All right, no luck at this stage with Shane Williams. He did get in touch yesterday. He got in touch via phone that he was having phone issues, but now we can't get him on the phone. Try and work that out.
I'm not sure that makes any sense. Go to a phone box. Do they actually? Is there phone boxes?
Go to a phone box.
Are there phone boxes? Well, go to someone. Go to your neighbour's house and borrow their phone.
How many phone numbers, if you were stranded and you went to a phone box, you could ring? Would you know anyone's phone number?
Well, I'm a little bit weird like that. I happen to know a lot of numbers rather than just scroll them. I do.
Oh, that is weird.
I like, yeah, strange.
I'm not even sure I'd be able to call my wife.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that. You
No,
don't
she
know
already
her
knows.
number?
Yeah, she knows.
04.
I was going to say it, but let's not go there.
No.
I think I know the next 2 numbers. That's about it.
Really?
Yeah.
My God.
From me, you can just guess it, surely.
Yeah, 1-800-BRIDE.
Yes. 1-800-HELP.
1-800, I didn't mean to do this.
Mark from Vic Park, our good friend Mark from Vic Park,
Yep.
he's got in touch. Green won't play if he can't bowl. Webster will be picked. And then he also said WA need to sack Tom.
Oh, Mark, that's hard. Look, Cameron Green will play in the first test, provided he's fit. Simple as that. Now, whether he bowls or not, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm expecting Cameron Green. I think everyone in Australian cricket circles will be expecting Cameron Green to be playing in that first test.
He's very much in the top 6 batsmen in Australia,
yeah.
well, certainly at the moment.
Yes, he is. Yep.
Elko, morning men. Weather could play a big part in the Melbourne Cup. 10 to 20 mils of rain forecast for the Monday at this stage.
That could well help Buckaroo, who appeared to appreciate a little bit of rain around on Saturday in the Cox Plate. Wetter the better, but if he can get a bit of moisture, clearly that's going to work in his favour. And Chris Waller indicated yesterday that he may well be going back to Flemington.
Yeah.
With Buckaroo.
Which was a little bit of a shock, as we spoke about that yesterday, and I heard an interview with him on Sunday morning, and he was talking about how exhausted the horse was after the Melbourne Cup last year. Now, provided he probably had a more searching campaign last year heading into a Melbourne Cup, but also to cancel that out this year, he needs to carry close to the top weight.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd have to produce a career PB, would he not?
Oh, massively.
He would have to produce yeah.
With that sort of weight, I don't think Buckaroo can win a Melbourne Cup.
Can half yours win the Melbourne Cup?
Yes.
What's the reservation there?
No, I hadn't put too much thought into it at this stage, but yes, I think so.
Effective on all ground. He is a heavy track winner, 53 kilos. In form, 2,400. Comes out of that Caulfield Cup where they looked like they were going along on a pretty good clip. So, yeah, he's most definitely a live hope. Hasn't it been a stunning emergence is probably the right word for this horse.
Yeah.
Like
it's had a run every month since May.
You go back to 19th of March. He ran second in a benchmark 64 at Sandown Hillside over 1,400 metres. And then he went a month later, 3.5 weeks later, and broke through winning a benchmark 64 mile at Seymour. He carried 61.5 kilos. He started odds on. And then a couple of, 2 or 3 starts later, he does what he does up there in the Caloundra Cup. And then, drew the car park at Rose Hill over an unsuitable 15 and wins a naturalism, runs 4th in a Turnbull, and then goes and wins a Caulfield Cup, 53 kilos. Jamie Mellum scans clear, ready to rock and roll. Stretched the legs this morning at Flemington, so all is in readiness. Can't wait to see him go over there.
Half your $6 favourite with our Riffer. Valiant King at $7. Buckaroo at $8. Presage Nocturne at $9. Maydan at $11. One Smooth Operator at $15.
It's a soft win in the Moonee Valley Cup on Friday night. Mark Zahra was just outstanding, as he always is.
That was a nice little tune-up, I think.
Yeah, wasn't it? Beautiful, beautiful. Would you be with Buckaroo or half yours in a Melbourne Cup?
Half yours.
Yeah.
Wait.
53.
Weight-wise, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd top two, if you were to press me right at the moment, would be Valiant King, and at that price, One Smooth Operator.
No Al Riffer?
Would have to be in your tips in the top four if you were giving your traditional top four tips. But I think Valiant King flying and One Smooth Operator at the price.
Yep. No, fair enough. I'm fascinated to see Al Riffer just because of what he did in that, was it the Irish St. Ledger? When he showed that turn of foot under a big weight at the back end of that race. And, Australian bloodstock horse as well. We know they've had success in this race previously on multiple occasions, in fact. So cannot wait to see that. It's going to be a fascinating build-up, as it always is.
Do you have any thought on the Victorian Derby at 2,500 metres?
Personally, I'm in the corner of Gay. I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I think you know that, TC. And you don't have to run your horse. If the 2,500 as a trainer is too taxing, don't run your horse. Simple. Save it for the autumn. Or if you think your horse is ready to be extended over 1.5 miles at this stage of their racing career, throw your hat into the ring and have a crack. No one's holding a gun to your head saying you must run in the Victoria Derby.
No, but I think Victoria Derby is one of those days. Derby Day, Flemington, you'd like to get as many horses there as possible. If you've got like Observer, for example, if he wins there on Saturday like he did, and then 2,500 metres, we look back at the records, the horses going there, it's a little bit of a stretch for them at this time of the season. We don't want him to go there. You sort of want the best horses at this time of the year to go there. It's the Victorian Derby. It's one of your classics.
It is one of your classics, but to be fair, I think if you look at the honour roll in recent times of your Victoria Derby winners as opposed to your Australian Derby winners, you'd be leaning to the autumn variety, would you not?
Yeah, well, therefore, does that not constitute you need to make a change if the honour roll hasn't sort of jumping off the page? 2,500 metres seems to be a little bit of a stretch and you're not getting your best horses there.
Perhaps, but again, some of these horses, then they're not even three, if that makes sense. Yes, they're three, but they might not have even celebrated their third birthday. So
last year, Gold Rush Guru won, and then Riff Rocket. We know, unfortunately, what happened to Riff Rocket.
Yep.
Manzoice, Hitotsu, Johnny Get Angry, Warning, Extra Brute, Ace High, Prized Icon, Tarzino, all the way back to 2015, Preferment in 2014.
Look, we've had some outstanding winners of the VRC Derby.
Not for a while.
But certainly, Rebel Raider was big price, was a good winner, efficient. What was that in 2006? Yeah, nearly 20 years ago. Great win. Plastered, yeah, Elvstrom. Like, we have had some great winners of this race. But, yeah, look, it's 2,500. There is that discussion. Personally, you're not compelled to run your horse in that race. So as an owner, as a trainer, you have a decision to make. If it's beyond your animal, you pull up stumps and you say, well, worry about the autumn. Or if you're confident your horse is not going to take any harm from running over the 2,500 in this stage of their careers, well, push ahead.
From Godolphin, Australia, Jason Walsh joins us on the Sports Daily. Jason, good morning to you and thank you very much for your time this morning.
Pleasure to be on with you guys. Good morning.
Good morning, Jason. We were just talking about the distance of the VRC Derby. Gaze had her say this morning. Is it something that consumes you, or is it just a matter of fact that it is 2,500 metres and you do with it as you do?
Yeah, it's in the calendar at that distance range and it's on this Saturday. So, Look, we're, I think just listening to you there beforehand, it's a case of what's in the best interest of your animal, and some are suited to it and some aren't. We've run quite a lot of placings in the race. We're yet to win one. We've had our fair share of challenges coming out of the race, so they're not decisions that you take lightly. But there'll be a winner there on Saturday, and we're hoping it's us.
What goes into the decision to having Observer run in the Victoria Derby this Saturday?
I'd say probably the biggest factor is the way he's bred. He's by a world champion 1.5 mile horse in Gayath. And when we brought him down to stand at stud in Australia, it was with a view to hopefully producing prospects that would get out over ground. And he's quite stout on his female side as well. Observer with his mother, a full sister to Piero. So that gives you some confidence that he's capable at that distance range. And certainly the run he put forward on Saturday in the Vase suggests that there's every reason to be confident.
And Jason, not only that run in the Vase on Saturday when he was throttled down late by Mark, all 3 runs this time in have been high class.
They have, yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to see him tested in the Guineas, but he certainly gave the impression he would have challenged there. He's a horse that we've had a lot of time for, and going back to his maiden victory on a Wednesday at Sandown where he hacked up, he's shown himself to be a quality colt throughout his training to this point. And as I say, with the way he's bred in mind, just excited about getting him out in trip, and the more he matures, I don't doubt for a minute the best is still ahead of him.
Is the 7-day backup going to suit him?
Yeah, there's every reason to think it will. We've had this plan in mind for him from the start of the preparation if he were ready and able. So you saw Mark Zara throttled down late there in the piece with a view to 7 days' time, but probably his best attribute as a racehorse is his mind. He's very straightforward, and riders love being on his back because he's just so quiet and relaxed, and that'll probably be a key on Saturday, getting him to settle in the first part of the race. But there's every reason to think that he should retain his form.
Jason, I know it's only early into the next week, but what does this week look like for Observer?
Yeah, he'll be having an easy enough time at Cranbourne there with Kieran's team. Obviously, having raced on Saturday, there's not a lot required ahead of this Saturday. I'm sure he'll stretch his legs probably in the later part of the week, just clear his wind out. But by all reports, he's come through the race very well. And as I say, his constitution and brain will, I'm sure, see him turn up at Flemington in great form.
The other horse going to the race is Options, is that right?
Options will be heading there too,
yep.
Yeah. And I wouldn't dismiss his chances either. He's another one who has had a Derby preparation in mind for the McAvoys since they tried him early on in the preparation, and he didn't have any luck there on Saturday. Came into the straight at Moonee Valley with a wall of horses in front of him. So he'll probably do a bit more this week just because they didn't feel he was fully tested there on Saturday, and he's a winner at Flemington, and the wide expanses there will suit him far better than Moonee Valley. So I think he's a genuine top 3 chance as well.
And he's always looked like a horse that the 2000 and beyond might suit.
Yeah, which is interesting because on his stallion side, there's not a lot to recommend that. But again, there's some very, very good 1.5 mile horses in his female family. And certainly to feel that he's given the McAvoys in his training and his racing to date, they're very confident that he's been looking for a Derby. So, look, we're excited to give him his chance there. And as I say, as a previous winner at Flemington, that'll be to his benefit as well.
Have you got the right horses to be competitive and/or winning a Coolmore Stud Stakes, Jason?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. We've got 2 very high-class colts who are in great form, both of them. And I know that both training teams feel that they've got them exactly where they want them for a race that's really significant for our operation and the Australian breeding landscape more generally. So we're very excited to have 2 very good prospects ready to compete at the weekend.
Baywalk and Tentyrus we speak of. Do you have a leaning one way or the other down the straight there at Flemington?
To be honest, I probably don't. I think there's not a whole lot between them. One, we expect Baywalk to be close to the speed, if not leading them up. And if he can put up his Golden Rose performance, which was utterly dominant, he will take all of the beating. And Tentyrus is a horse that he won the Todman so dominantly at 2, and unfortunately didn't get his chance in a Golden Slipper. But he's really prepped beautifully for this race, and we've got some big aspirations for him in mind for the next 10 days. So he'll get back off the speed we'd expect, and he's the kind of horse that the more you get him to chase, the better he tends to go. So I'm very excited about seeing both of them. I think they're both very, very capable of winning the race, and it's a long-winded answer to your question, but they're hard to split.
Jason, I know he shouldn't be given what he's been able to achieve in the barn, but Tentyrus's sire, a Street Boss, hasn't he been a marvel?
Yeah, he's the most magnificent horse and influence on our racing and breeding program. Sire of Animo, who will carry his legacy forward, but I've got no doubt about that. Street Boss will show up in the pedigrees of a lot of top-class racehorses in Australia for many, many years to come. Got his other son there, recently retired to stud in Traffic Warden. As you say, Tentyrus, who we're very, very hopeful will be standing in a barn when he ultimately finishes his career. And he's a sire attempted who ran so well for us in the Everest. So behind them as well, I'm fortunate enough to know what's in our system coming in the yearling and wean and foal crops rather. And Street Boss has just been the most magnificent contributor for our program.
You must have been very proud with what Tempted was able to do.
Yeah, very. She's obviously very high class, and she's had 3 very big performances this time. I think she lost nothing in defeat behind Bayvocht in the Golden Rose, just struck one, having a world-class performance there on the day. And I know Kieran felt that having put up such a big run in the Run to the Rose that he would have preferred she had a bit longer between runs. But again, that's where they fall in the calendar, so we were compelled to run, and beautifully handled by that team, and it was great to see her come out and run right up to her best behind a world champion sprinter, and it just you can't help but be hugely excited for what the next 12 to 24 months might hold in store with her.
Jason, I know it's been a significant shift with James deciding to go public and head to Hong Kong, but the success Godolphin is having with a variety of trainers, has it exceeded expectations?
It's certainly what we were hoping for when we made the change, and when we allocate a large number of horses, about 230 horses allocated between 9 trainers. And I think we were certainly hopeful that we had some high quality stock in the program, and we were confident that we did. So it was a question of placing them to advantage in terms of trainers, and then obviously placing them to advantage in terms of the races that we set them for. So a weekend like the one we've just had, having 3 high-class colts all win stakes races, and Attica a maiden Group 1 victory. I mean, that's ultimately a key aspiration for our organisation, and we're very pleased with how it's going so far.
Where next to for Pericles?
So Pericles at this stage is likely to take in the Champions Mile next on Saturday week. He's still in Sydney, and Björn's happy with him. He's having a great preparation with it, out winning after his first up tramway win. He was excellent in the Epsom, and again in the King Charles. I think that's as good as I've ever seen him run to hit the front against horses of that calibre. So he's in great shape. As I say, Champions Mile, and then we'll take a decision on whether we bring him west to see you guys.
All right, he's the only one that's likely to come west?
Yeah, it looks that way. And he's a very versatile horse. So whether he takes in a railway or a northerly or even a Gold Rush, they're all in consideration. And we'll get through Saturday week first anyway. That's our inclination at the moment, is he'll run there, and then we'll take a view on what's ahead of him.
What's it like dealing with Bjorn from a week-to-week basis as opposed to James, Jason?
It's different.
Surely you jest.
No, he's a great trainer and a very driven guy. Yeah. His service for us has been outstanding, and for all of the great showman that he is, and you see on television, there's a fierce competitor in there, and we're really enjoying working with him. And as I say, he's got Pericles going as well as ever. So I know you guys know him very well over there in the West. He's had great success, and we talked about that being a possibility when Pericles was sent to him. So hopefully we can pull that off.
Yeah, if that does happen and you do make the trip over, Jason, just bring the energy on Railway Day if Bjorn's there with you, because from previous experiences, he certainly does. Thank you very much for your time and all the best on Saturday especially.
Thanks very much, guys. You're very welcome.
There's Jason Walsh from Godolphin, and could be a really big day for them on Saturday.
It could be a red letter day, couldn't it, for the operation? And as he said then, 230 horses dispersed between 9 trainers, and all 9 trainers are playing their part. But certainly on the weekend upcoming, in the 2 big ones there, they're going to be well represented, aren't they?
I think ideally Tentaurus would beat Baywalk. Baywalk's already got his Group 1. Tentaurus gets the Coolmore. You've got the Golden Rose and the Coolmore for the 2 3-year-olds.
In saying that, you're spot on. I think you've summed that up well. But you look at a horse like a Zoo Star, won a Coolmore after winning a Golden Rose, and look what he's done at start in terms of his commercial appeal. So Baywalk's got a place in the barn assured, and Tentaurus will find his way there. There's no doubt about that, and hopefully carry on the legacy of his sire in Street Boss.
$3 Baywalk, Tentaurus at $3.50, Beedman at $4, who worked really nicely last Friday down the straight there at Flemington, and there was a little bit of vision on that around social media. Skyhook at $11, My Gladiola $13, Raging Force at $13.18, and up the remainder. That's in the futures betting with Tab Touch, the Coolmore Stud Stakes. All right, we'll take a quick break and news on the other side.
What happened on this day in years gone by?
Okay, born on this day, 1955, the American computer, programmer, businessman, Bill Gates. Also born on this day, 1967, the American actress, Julia Roberts.
Oh, jeez, massive day.
Yes. Now, on this day, 1962, Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev capitulated to US demands to halt delivery of nuclear-armed missiles to Cuba, bringing to an end the Cuban Missile Crisis 2 years ago. Can't believe it's already gone that fast. American actor Matthew Perry, who played Chandler on the hugely popular sitcom Friends, passed away at the age of 54 due to acute effects of ketamine. And a featured event on this day, 1886, the Statue of Liberty was dedicated as a gift from the people of France. So there you go. 1886, all of those years ago. So that is on this day, history, October 28.
Have you been to New York?
No, I have not. Would like to go to New York. I'd like to do the east coast of America as opposed to the west coast.
Well, it's going at the moment?
Yep. I'd still like to do that, east coast. My oath. Boston, all up, Philly,
Knicks
New York. No, I'd go and watch a Philadelphia 76ers game, thank you. And an Eagles. Not West Coast.
Not West. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah. I'm with you. Okay.
You're with me and not wanting to go to a West Coast Eagles game or Philadelphia Eagles?
I've been that way since I was born. All right, at a break, and we'll be back. John O'Shea, not too far away from joining us on the Sports Daily.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Taylor Cortland and Digby Beecham joining you on the Sports Daily this morning. We'll get to your text messages very shortly, 0427 789 571. That's special where the NBA is now live as well between 7 and 9. We'll update you that shortly, but we'll get to our first guest of this hour nice and quickly. John O'Shea joins us with a look forward to the weekend. John, thank you very much for your time and a very good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Going very, very well. How's Napoleonic going after that win at Moonee Valley?
Yeah, no, he seems fine. Everyone went over him this morning and got the tick of approval. So, yeah, no, it was a really pleasing result.
How impressed were you by that performance down there at Moonee Valley in the Red Anchor, John?
Well, look, I'd suggest that we expected a really good performance because we'd won that race a few times previously, and this horse was the best prepared we'd ever sent to that particular race, in terms of what he'd been able to achieve going into it. And he was a little unlucky at his last start, and I think his last start will end up being a really good form race. So, we thought he could run very well, and he probably did. He showed that he was right up to the mark.
Has he always given you the impression that he's up to the top grade?
Yeah, no, we've always felt him very talented, but we were mindful that we'd just be a little patient on him. I think with the progeny of Wood and Bassett, they're very, very talented horses, and just been watching a couple of others progress around the place and ended up in the deep end pretty soon, and may have, just dented their confidence, as it were. So with this fellow, we were keen to build a bit of confidence and a nice profile before we stepped him out to elite level.
So, John, no doubt you have kept a very close eye on some of your opposition on Saturday upcoming. You would have seen Baywalk up close and personal. How does your colt compare to a horse like that?
Oh, he's not up to that level just yet, and consequently, he won't go around in the race on Saturday. He hasn't had the right preparation he hasn't had a look at the straight. He hasn't, he's not ready for that yet, but he'll be ready for something like that in the autumn, because he wouldn't have gone to the paddock, not, gutted, and he'll do well quickly, which he's already started to do well now. So we may consider giving him one more run, and we need to speak to Jonathan about that as to whether we do that. But I want to have a look at the horse myself tomorrow when I go to Melbourne, and then we'll sit down with Jonathan and his team and give some consideration to whether we run him again in the spring. All
right, so the CF4, it sounds like that wouldn't be an option either?
So I wouldn't say no. Okay. I mean, I just want to give consideration to where he will be best placed and what's going to set him up for the autumn. Now, my preference will be to go to the paddock, but like you said, we need to give Jonathan all the respect, and he's a pretty experienced racing guy, so we'll see what he thinks and what he would like to achieve with the horse, and I can sort of tell him what I think we can achieve with him in the autumn.
How many do you train for Jonathan, John?
We only sort of get one or two a year from him, but I like to buy off him because I love the way he mates his horse, and he's got beautiful pedigrees, which we bought linebacker off him, we bought linebacker's brother off him. He's a good guy to breed off because he puts them in the ring and they sell for what they're worth, and they're out a beautiful European family. So, they're the sort of horses we like to try and buy if we can.
Can linebacker beat Autumn Glow on Saturday?
It's a massive chance. She's just a champion, and he's in good form. So probably would have, I think, would have preferred to have a little run over a mile somewhere before we went to the Golden Eagle, but just the way a little setback through the spring and wasn't to be. But he's in good form. He's right at the top of his game. He loves, the Randwick sort of mile, that 1,300 mile at Randwick's really his sweet spot, and we're looking forward to getting him to the races on Saturday.
I dare say to you, John, it wasn't a shock, but that turn of foot he displayed in the Silver Eagle, it was electric, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, he sort of gave an indication in his trial that he was going well, and so if you watch him, he's got big action, and so when he drew out, it wasn't too much of a worry because you can just let him roll with his action, and when he gets into that good rhythm, he'll really rip for you, So softer gates are worse for him than wider gates, So he went really well on Saturday week last, and hopefully he can continue that on Saturday.
Does his spring continue after Saturday?
Again, it's all commensurate to what we achieve on Saturday and how he pulls up. So I'd say that we're more inclined to spell, but I was just doing some sums there now, and he's got plenty of time to have a break and come back in the autumn. But we just have a look at what he can get done on Saturday and how he pulls up, and before we make any assessment on what we do with him going forward.
Every preparation he comes back, he just seems to get better and better.
Yeah, again, well, I think that's more to do with the way he's bred, and he's out of a beautiful European family that sort of tend to train on, and we've looked after him and given him every chance early on in his life, so he's sort of repaying us a bit now,
Was it a no-brainer? Did you have to make that ultimate gear change?
Well, mate, he was dangerous, at the races, and it's sort of, we've got a couple other Super Souths here, Colts, and fair dinkum butter wouldn't melt in their mouth. They're just not as good as him. You know? So,
they can stay intact.
Always the
way. Will you have representation in the Victorian Derby as well Saturday?
Yeah, we've got a couple of good chances. You know, like their horses that are bred to run a trip, and we give them a first go at a little trip on Saturday, and they went fantastic in the Amy Vase, which, you know, for mine has to be the right form race leading into the Derby. I mean, the nominal favourite went round, justified favourite, and there was some good runs in the race, and you know, one of which or both of which were a couple of hours, and so we're looking forward to Saturday. And they got beautiful stout pedigrees to run a strong mile and a half. They're good jockeys and fit and happy sound horses.
John, there's a lot of chatter this time of the year, each and every year it seems, about the distance of the Victoria Derby. You mentioned those two horses, O'Shamus and One Step Closer, who will represent the stable. You're comfortable with it being the 2,500 at this time of the year?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not a problem, but, you know, I get the strategy behind making it 10 furlongs. And, but, you know, I think also, you know, it looks after the horse, that's great, but I think there seems to be not enough merit given to horses whose capacity is to stay a trip, you know, and it sort of tend to shorten a lot of our races now for whatever reason, but I think there should be given just as much merit for horses that can stay a trip and trainers that can train them to do so as what we do, the emphasis we place on sprinting horses, you know. And so all the horses that we've run in the Victoria Derby in recent times have all trained on, so I don't have a problem with it at its current format, you know. So, but if it was to change, I understand why, and we'll be happy to, you know, do that as well.
Will we see Athabaskan in the Melbourne Cup?
Yeah, well, you know, God willing, the vet sees it's okay for him to run, and our intention is to run him, and he's just coming into a bit of form. And so I'd really like to run him because he's a dead set 2-miler, and he was set for the race last year, and we were really bullish on his chances, and vets pulled him out the day before. So hopefully that doesn't happen again, because we're exactly the same scenario this year. We've passed all the criteria, and he's met, you know, all the balloting conditions, so he's ready to go. And he ran a good race the other night, indicative that he's ready to best foot forward when he gets to the Cup.
Absolutely. Looks like a nice form behind One Smooth Operator. And a couple more before we let you go, John. Thank you very much for your time. The Bendigo Cup tomorrow, Quietness. Can you win?
Well, she can win. She's just got a frightfully poor gait, you know, and yeah, she's probably going to left with not much option but to roll forward and either sit outside the lead or lead, you know, which is probably not an issue for her. But I just looked at the last few runnings of that race, and tend to be won by a horse that's sort of blending into the race, you know. She's not going to be doing that. So, but, you know, apart from that, you know, she's in great form. She's one of the few horses in the race that's got good form, and we endeavour to sort of get it to 1.5 miles, which is her right trip, you know. So she's a definite chance in the race, and it just, you know, you'll know your fate early, because if Jamie can get her across without burning too much gas, well, you know, she'll be every chance to win the race.
And do you have a winner today at Hawkesbury?
Yeah, I think Big Blue, he got into a really fast run race in a maiden the other day, and did a good job to hold on. Looks a completely different format today, where he'll roll forward and get into a 1-1 scenario with a slow speed. So yeah, he's got a great chance to break through today.
Thank you very much for your time, John. All the best over the next couple of days, especially on Saturday with linebacker in the Vic Derby.
Cheers, boys.
There's John O'Shea, nice and comprehensive, Napoleonic. Maybe one more run this spring, but it sounds like John will be hoping to tip him out and come back in the autumn.
Yeah, exactly right. He's an exciting colt. He's on the up, isn't he? He's now a group winning son of Wooten Bassett. So talking about stud duties, you know where he's going to end up. You would think, all things being equal, and if they can get that Group 1 alongside his name in the autumn, well, look out.
The Big Blue, that horse he mentioned today at Hawkesbury, race 7, number 5 at $2.50 currently. Last start second, start before that second, start before that third. 4 starts ago, second.
Knocking on the door.
It's due. I know you like to say that.
Yes, exactly right. Baywalk, the $3 favourite with Tab Touch for the Coolmore Stud Stakes. This is the all-in market. And Tentyrus, $3.50. Beedman, who you referenced a little bit earlier, TC, in regards to the piece of work that he produced on Saturday, $4, double figures the remainder.
It would be a shock if the winner comes outside of those top 3.
Oh, hold on. Are you comfortable saying that?
No.
At 7:20 on a Tuesday.
Think back a month and McGaw down the straight was pretty good. Big Tentyrus.
No
So
love for the filly?
Forget that. Delete that from the record.
No love for the filly? My Gladiola?
No.
Can't make a case?
I think you can make a case, but not for me. I think some of these colts have been really revved up for this race and they'll be peaking on that day. She's had a little bit of a longer campaign and
if I was
a little bit more improvement in some of the others.
Okay, if I was to give you a lead rope and said you could take home one of the 2 colts of Godolphins, which one are you taking home? Which stall are you going to? Right now.
Baywalk. He's already got the Group 1.
Right.
We'll send him straight to stud and we'll make money.
Okay. I'll go the other way.
Well, you hate Bivouac. And Mark from Vic Park's picked you up. Yep. Baywalk is by that average cider, isn't he, Diggers? Says Mark.
He has cider Group 1 winner, Bivouac. He has one Group winner in this country at the moment. Now, he's only in his second season, but that's the fact of the matter. Luana Miss, stakes performer. I think he's had a Group winner in New Zealand, but that's it. But they all get one. He's very much in the early stages of his career. He's getting an opportunity, but Baywalk's done his job thus far.
Special live, Tab Touch Tuesday. We're going to the NBA, the Golden State Warriors, to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. They are $1.32, up to $2. That game tips off at 10 o'clock today. The specials from 7 until 9. Tab Touch account holders, there is a max stake there. Both sides go into the game 2-1. You'd think the Golden State Warriors should be pretty hard to beat.
Very hard to beat.
I do need to just check that news about Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies to see if he is in or out of the game today.
A couple of games at the moment ongoing. Detroit lead Cleveland midway through the first quarter 16-14, and the Philadelphia 76ers have a 1-point advantage over Orlando 14-13 with 6:50 to go in the opening term.
All right. Can't quite find. I'll try and find it for the listeners over the break when we get to the traffic about Ja Morant. Of course, plenty of tips throughout the day. We'll update you on that as well. A couple of text messages. 0427 789 571. Well, we are meant to be taking on Shane, but we don't know Shane's tip, so that makes it difficult.
It does make it difficult. Are we going to take on Ollie?
We'll get Shane's tips at some stage throughout the day.
You're confident? But he's telegraphed the fact that he was having issues with his phone yesterday when he told us he was going to have issues with his phone this morning.
Yeah, try and work that out.
Yeah.
No, I'll be lenient. We'll come up with some rules and look, if you send in a tip, you're likely to get through. Just put it that way. We've only got a couple of more weeks of this competition to go, so we'll just let everyone in.
Yep, that's very true.
Suey.
Yes.
I reckon half yours will be truckloaded on the day and start a short price favourite in the Cup. Truckloaded. It's a big call. Big call in the Melbourne Cup to say it'll be truckloaded, but Suey's seen a lot of Melbourne Cups, respectfully. Clip?
No, not at all. He was there, trackside, Saturday, I saw, Suey. So, look, you can see why Caulfield Cup winner, 53 kilos. He's touchwood. He's going to be there. He's passed all the vet tests and everything. So,
call of the card?
Call of the card's always interesting. Yeah. It's always interesting to see where the money goes. There'll be no doubt some big money wagered on certain horses, that we know.
Yes. Is this Paul's text in? We are lucky if we have 1 or 2 Australian-bred horses in the Melbourne Cup. Now people want to knock the Victoria Derby down to 2,000 and give even less incentive to breed a horse that can go 25,000 plus.
2,500.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
2,500, yeah. Look,
what did I say, 25,000?
Listening to you this morning in your tone, you would think it's better suited at 2,000 in November?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, look, it's an age-old debate, isn't it? Whether it's changing or not. smarter minds than you and I will come up with a plan there. But interesting to get John's take, in terms of, it's not just so much on the horse, but also the conditioners of the horse, the trainers. You know, have you got a good handle on knowing, which horse you can perhaps push the envelope with, or some that you need to pull up on? It's the art of training, isn't it?
It is. But are you given enough chance in the lead up to get the miles into your legs on race day?
Oh, I think so.
Up to 2,000, then you make a quick jump up to 2,500 metres?
Well, but you look at a horse like Observer. He's bred to run 2,500 metres. His sire was an accomplished 1.5 mile horse. This is a target race from an operation which is elite. And he's striking the VRC Derby 4th up. It's been a very meticulous program. He's in the care of a master conditioner of horses. So if he goes there and wins the Victoria Derby, Observer, you say, well, that plan has come off. He's a Group 1 performer already in a Caulfield Guineas. He goes and wins a Vase with the handbrake on, and he strikes this race 4th up. So he's bred. He is bred to run 1.5 miles at this stage of his career. And if he does so on the weekend, well, you say, well, there you go. There's the blueprint. If you want to win a VRC Derby, identify horses by this sire, potentially, or this family, or similar families and similar size, and you might be able to get the ultimate reward.
I'd like to see them go on with it. That's what I'm sort of my knock at the moment. You go through the honour roll for the last 10 years, no horse has really gone on with it. Won a Vic Derby, yeah, all well and good, but they haven't progressed to be, your 2,000 metre Australian Cup horses in a year's time.
That's the old saying. Some of the old Golden Slipper winners, though, haven't gone on and won it, and they've gone over 1,200 metres in the autumn. Yeah,
a lot of them don't get the greatest chance. They go straight to stud.
Yeah, but there is that hoodoo, isn't it? The horses they don't win, after they win a Golden Slipper, and they're it's 6 months on over half the distance. Sometimes when you're pushing the envelope with horses at a young age, and it's the old saying, isn't it? It's early return, the return on investment. Do you buy a 2-year-old or get a horse that's going to be up and running, knowing full well that by the time they're 4 and 5, they've probably done their job, and that's potentially, and that's the thing. If you're a colt and you don't train on past winning a, say, Observer goes there and another colt or goes and wins a VRC, but he doesn't have to train on, because ultimately he will find his way to the barn. Now, whether he's going to be 16.5 as opposed to 77, that will be determined by what you do post VRC Derby. But the prize is there for those horses on the weekend, and at this stage it stays at 2,500. Will it stay there? Maybe not.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of, I'd say, trained on over the last few years, probably the couple that you say could have, didn't get the chance to.
Hototsu was one.
Riff Rocket.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Unfortunately, I think he came back and had 1 or 2 runs and looked really good, and then unfortunately succumbed to injury and we lost him. Preferment, no name I can find on this text message, but Preferment, the last one to go on with it, I thought that was probably fair. Went on to win an Australian Cup.
Yeah, he was a good horse for Chris, wasn't he? Preferment.
Awesome Rock.
I think you might be right.
On protest. He was a protest involved there.
And was he? Yes, because Awesome Rock was trained by Corstens, Team Corstens. Yeah, he was a Preferment, the son of Zabeel, if I'm not mistaken. I reckon he was. I'll stand corrected, but I think he was a Zabeel.
Chris Waller, Hugh Bowman, I think.
Yes, yep.
All right, we're not too far away from chatting with Paddy Carbery and also Simon Miller, but first we'll get out to the road.
Wake Tab Radio, your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
The Sports Daily this morning, of course, brought to you by the Gate Bar and Bistro, the Melbourne Cup Garden Party. Enjoy Melbourne Cup Day outdoors in the Gate's new beer garden. Tickets to the garden party include a drink on arrival, a mystery bet, along with canapes and hot food station. Enjoy Cup Day outdoors in Perth's best beer garden with TAB facilities and live bands. Only $49 a ticket, Diggers.
Yeah, I know. It's very cheap, isn't it? Great
good
value.
Very good value.
Excellent.
For all the details and to get those tickets, head to thegatebarandbistro.com.au.
Great facility. Great facility, the Gate Bar and Bistro as well. So get along. Take up that special. It's great value. $49 only.
Aren't there some Melbourne Cup parties around the place on that day, Tuesday?
Plenty of them. So what do we got? A week week today.
Week today to the Melbourne Cup.
A week today until the Melbourne Cup.
Then you got to sort out your Christmas presents too, Diggers, after that.
Feels like this year's gone really quickly. Or is it just me because I'm getting old?
Well, there's probably a bit of that, yeah, for sure.
Thanks for your support. I can't wait till you get to my age.
We'll chat to a young whippersnapper now on the Sports Daily. Pat Carbery, good morning to you.
Morning, Taylor. Good morning, Mr. Stigby.
Good morning, Patrick. Is it me or is it the year's going really quickly?
No, I think it is, but I think we've got a couple of years on Taylor, so...
Yeah.
Does it seem to go quicker?
I think Taylor, you probably want them to go quicker with your young family.
Yeah, the young rats.
What age do kids go to school, Pat? I'm just asking for a friend.
Well, sometimes you might say not soon enough.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking at the moment.
It's called boarding school. Send them to boarding school, even though you're in the metro area yourself. Now, Pat, we need to straighten up. Talk horses. Joker's Grin returns to the races on Saturday, and the Prince of Wales. How has his build-up been in your eyes?
Yeah, he's been coming along nicely. He's had a couple of nice trials. His first trial, we didn't really do much with him, and his second trial asked him to do a little bit more, and he's come through that trial really well. And so far he's had a pretty faultless preparation.
We spoke to Bernie Miller a couple of weeks ago, Pat, and he mentioned that the attitude of the horse around the stables is a little bit different. Have you noticed any difference in his mannerisms at the trials thus far this preparation?
Yeah, he was a little bit up and about in his first trial when he pre-trial, just in the mounting yard and that. But it was probably just a bit of a nervous energy and a bit of excitement. But yeah, he's definitely a lot more chilled out. Even track work is a little bit more chilled out. So, which obviously is good for everyone, including my short arms, which end up being a bit longer riding him. But he's going really well and. Yeah, he certainly has matured in a few different ways, that's for sure.
What did you make of that most recent trial? Of course, the conditions weren't exactly ideal.
No, it wasn't really a spring day, that's for sure. But, it was the track deteriorated as the morning got on, but the track was a bit soft when he trialled. And, I just sort of let him amble out and... He was trialling against horses that, with no disrespect to them, they were a lot lesser quality than him, or his rating, a lot less rating than him. So I just let them get well away from him, so he had something decent to sort of chase down, and he had a fair margin to chase down, and asked him to do a little bit more, and he chased him down well, and he won quite softly with a bit in hand, but just give him a little bit of a shake-up to get him to hit the line.
So physically, are we going to see a more advanced animal at the races on Saturday than we saw in the autumn?
Yeah, I think so. He's definitely matured quite a bit, as I said, and I think that there's been a few people that have sort of watched him progress that aren't tied to the stable, and they've commented on how much stronger he is. So it's not just our biased opinion. So obviously, if he's matured a bit the way we think he has, hopefully he can handle things better and bounce out of runs even better, which obviously should stand him in good stead for his preparations.
Are you typically nervous on race morning, Pat, if you take a horse like this to the races who's going to have a fair bit of expectation on his back?
I think, you're always excited to be riding these sort of horses, and I've been around a little while now, so sort of you get used to the hype and all that sort of thing. But, you can only do what you can only do, and obviously turn up and do your best. And, but definitely very excited for him to be back at the races. This is what we work hard for, and hope we can get amongst it.
Now, Pat, you will also ride Love and War in the Asian Bow on Saturday. That recent trial, you've been aboard her at her last two trials, I should say. What did you make of the most recent one?
both her trials have been good. Her most recent trial, she'd come along a fair bit since that first time I trialled her. She's a big mare now. She's really matured and filled into herself. I think that she's going to be going into that race quite forward, and I'm sure she's come on since that last trial. But we've shown in the last preparation that, and this time last year also, she showed that she's around the mark for that sort of quality. So I think she'll be all things being equal, she'll run well.
And obviously the stablemate might be their Cosmic Crusader, but you think she has a quality to win a race of that high profile?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, Cosmic Crusader, he looks like the benchmark at the moment, and obviously barriers are going to play a big part in things, in the lead up to races to the Group 1s. But she's definitely well up there in the mix of it, I think.
Pat, just going back to Sunday, Red Sun Sensation, I dare say that performance by that horse on the weekend for Sue gave you a great deal of joy.
Yeah, for sure. It was really good for the team, great for the horse. He's a lovely horse. He's a good looker, and he's got great manners. And Sue's, now she's had him for a little while. She obviously, her and Alan obviously bred him and sent him over east, and she hasn't really trained him, and she's got a good handle on him now. Now she's had him back for a little while, and his first up run was really good, and she put a good deal of base into him before he trialled, and he'd been in work a good while. So it was just great to see, and he's pretty much a stable favourite, and it was great to see Sue very excited, and a couple of the staff that were there. It was a great team effort from everyone.
What do you think his best distance is?
He's won up to 2,000. That was only his third race that he's won, but I'm not sure if he gets further than that. But in saying that, I feel that he's probably wasn't fit enough to be running over any further than 1,800 last preparation. But as I said, Sue's got a good handle on him now, and he's had a good preparation to win second up in a mile in a good race like the Northern Cup, and he raced on the speed and done the job himself. So I don't think I think 2,000 is possibly as far as he wants to go, but he does make his own luck a bit, so we'll see.
So it would sort of be a progress on the path of a Perth Cup and just see where he gets and maybe pull up stumps before the Perth Cup. Is that sort of what you're thinking?
Well, it's obviously up to Sue and Alan, but they wanted to go to the Perth Cup last year, but he just didn't come up well enough, and they pulled up on him. But I think that's possibly the way they want to head again this preparation. But as the best way to do is take it each run at a time and go from there.
Pat, great to chat this morning. Congratulations on Red Sun Sensations win on Sunday just gone, and best of luck on the weekend upcoming.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
There's Patrick Carbery, of course, Joker's Grin, back at the races on Saturday. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, he's going to be... Well, you'll get to see, I think, hopefully we get to see Cosmic Crusader in the Asian Bow on Saturday. So those two features are going to have two proper horses, aren't they, in terms of the Prince of Wales and Cosmic Crusader. You've got Joker's Grin, who I think now might be on the second line of betting with Tab Touch for the Winterbottom with what Overpass did in the Everest, but certainly Cosmic Crusader off what he did in the spring in those two runs, 14 and 16, and the manner in which he demolished his opposition. Was vaulted to the top of the Tab Touch Railway Stakes market, wasn't he?
Absolutely. Overpass at $4 for the Winterbottom. Joker's Grin at $5. Giga Kick at $8. War Machine at $10. Ray Magnerio at $12. Rope Them In at $12. Reserve Bank, the Boss Lady, and then Super Smink on the next line of betting. West Star there at $16. So if you can get those top 6 in the race, Overpass, Joker's Grin, Giga Kick, War Machine, Ray Magnerio, Rope Them In.
Proper race, isn't it?
It's a good Winterbottom.
Yeah, it's a terrific Winterbottom.
And there might be West Star fingers crossed we might be able to get an update with our next guest. Trainer Simon Miller joins us on the Sports Daily. Simon, a good morning to you.
Morning, TC. Morning, Diggs. You well?
We are indeed. Likewise for your end, we hope. West Star, there's a lot of interest in this animal. Simon, read the Retrovision text line in here. Can you provide our listeners with a bit of an update, please?
He's heading back to Perth, and we'll give him probably a couple of weeks off and just see if we can reset him. Everything he's done behind the scenes is good, but race day is awful, and his coat's not there. He's holding on to it, so he's racing like he looks. So this time of year, you get those half-wintry coats, and you can generally shift them. But in this case, he's holding on to it, so he's just a little bit out of sync. So we'll put him in a paddock and see if we can weave some magic, and then if he can move it and he's working well, we'll probably just go a Winterbottom Gold Rush. But subject to him, but we pulled the pin on the Eagle because he's not going good enough.
Okay, do you have a reason as to why he hasn't shed that coat yet?
No, it does my head in.
Yeah.
So sometimes they just do it and it cooks you. Like I got away with it with Fine Star, you know, she looked awful at Belmont, but got the job done and then put her out and gave her 2 weeks off and came back and was just a completely different horse. So horses for courses, but they generally do it for a reason, and when you can't find the reason, it does your head in.
So did you say he was back in Perth, or he's still on his way home?
No, he's on his way home. He lobs here Wednesday.
Okay. Now, you mentioned Fine Star. Will we see her in a Burgess Queen it's a week today?
Yes. She'll spin around there and then head to a Champion Fillies, which you'd think she'll eat the ground up. She's had a great prep, and it was a dominant win the other day. So generally, as you get a bit further out in trip and you take on your own sex, it doesn't get as tough. So we'll see who enters the Burgess Queen, but she sets up beautifully and she's improved from the first up run. So happy with her.
All right, so she's run a good race at 1,300 metres. Her last two efforts have been at 1,200, but she gives you the impression 14 and further is going to be her best trip?
Yep, absolutely. Spot on. So all her makeup suggests that the further the better, and she's tracking along beautifully and just looks a totally different horse from what we produced at Belmont in winter.
All right. Twisted Steel, do we get to see him on Saturday?
You'll see him Saturday, so he's just got to improve his manners. If he brings the same brain to the races, we're in trouble. He just didn't deal with the crowd at Ascot and did his first lap in the parade in the mountain yard, and he was starting to work himself up, and then his second lap he was shot, and the third lap I was closing my eyes and hiding. But thank God this race is this weekend and not Irish Day, because they had 8,800 there last week. He would have been absolutely gonzo. So I think I'll just tweak a few things behind the scenes. I might have had him a bit fresh, and I'll put pre-race ears on him, and I'll keep the work up to him. So his work this morning was excellent. So hopefully we can knock a bit of nervous energy out of him. And if he parades well, I'm sure he'll race well.
You've always had a big opinion of this horse, Simon. Has he always been a little bit revvy, or is it just a case of him being a bit fresh there on that first up performance?
He's a typical Rommel. They've just got no brains, and then you just got to hold their hand and hope they develop one. And generally the Colts and Geldings do. So I must admit, this time around he was bomb-proof everywhere. So I was wrapped with the way he was going. Then he just got to the race and had a meltdown. So I think we can switch him around and get him back on course. But he's come a long way from where he was at. So he's got an engine and the brain's catching up.
He's your best chance to win a Placid Arc? Is that fair?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I've got a lot of nice horses, but I don't know if I can get him in there. I don't think I've got enough money. And so, I mean, he's already ticked the box. He's qualified. So, yeah, he's definitely our best.
Marduce's performance on the weekend, satisfied?
Yeah, wrapped. He's wrapped. He's just building. I've still got heaps of room. Got a coach shifting. It's not fully there yet, so there's room for improvement. Fitness-wise, he'll strip fitter for that again. So I'm just trying to aim to have him cherry ripe for the Guineas. So I'm just slowly with him. His first two runs have been enormous. So the winner's a good horse, so we've got to try and turn the tables there. I've got fitness on my side, so hopefully that can help square us up with him. But I'd like to think the ones that were behind us, with natural improvement, we can elevate again. So yeah, he's on track for again. He's a ripper. Like you look at his whole CV, he's never had a bad race. And from a trainer's point of view, they're great horses to not only train but to enjoy on race day and watch them go around.
Does look a tough task to turn the tables on the winner, though. The winner looks smart.
Yeah, winner's very good. Yep, but just need a bit of luck. You never know. I haven't screwed him down yet, so that's probably one thing in our favour. But I do need something in my favour because he's a very good horse, the winner.
Talking of luck, don't declare didn't get a lot of it on Sunday.
Oh.
He's still there trying to get out, so I can't even tell you how he pulled up. I'll let you know when I pick him up on Thursday when I go back to Northern. So, well, it's just a train wreck. He's a really good horse, kept going shin sore, so that's why he's lightly raced, and thought we could sneak $1 out of him Sunday, and the operation was a success, but the patient died. So we'll reset go again. I'm going to throw him into Placid Arc Prelude. If he happened to get a run, it's not like he had a hard run the other day, so he's a sneaky little go, but we'll see what the race looks like, and if he doesn't, there's a race for him the following week. But yeah, really nice horse. How we finished second with 50 metres before the line, still hadn't been asked for an effort. Shows he's got good ability.
What about tomorrow at Belmont and then Thursday at Northam? You take over the 2 days 7 runners to the races, if my maths are correct. Is there one that stands out?
I actually like my first starters, so I think Western Jet will run a really good race Wednesday, and I think Gem Coney will run a really good race Thursday. And of the race ones, probably the best of them would be Admire Astra. She was in the slow lane and really good the other day, and I think she's improved since. But, yeah, we've got good chances both days. We're just peppering away, seeing who can get the prize money up and just see which way we play with a few of them, whether we can get into the better races. I'm sort of cramming for an exam with a few of these.
When do we see Gabex again, Simon?
I might take it to Northern Thursday week, I think it is. Yep. Wednesday week, Thursday week. So she'll go up there. There's a 11 and a 1300 maiden. Probably prefer the 13. She's a nice filly that'll get further, and she pulled ground off what was a messy race and forward, track plate on speed. I thought she was a great run the other day. That was another one. Shaded her up, chance to get $1 out of her, and we just missed. But she's going really good. Nice filly.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Simon. Thank you very much for the update. I'm sure we'll chat shortly.
No worries. Thanks, TC. Thanks, Diggs. Have a good day.
There's Simon Miller with an update. So West Star, best case scenario, probably a Winterbottom and a Gold Rush gets home tomorrow.
Yep,
Today's Tuesday.
Yep. So he'll get home, a couple of weeks off, and hopefully, as he said, he shifts that coat, comes back, surrounds, warmer weather. We can see the best version of him because we saw what he was able to do in the autumn. It was pretty exciting. So he'd probably need to elevate again to match motors with those big boys, but with natural development and fitness and maturity, you'd like to think he would.
Yeah, absolutely. He'd race like a horse that probably just needs a little bit more tempo. And I Winterbottom, you're probably going to get that. He overdid it a little bit in a couple of runs over there in Melbourne, but it'd be nice for him to be here in Perth today. That would help him shift the coat.
Yeah, exactly right.
32 degrees and sunny.
Albeit tomorrow and the rest of the week's quite mild. I think I'm looking ahead to Saturday. There's a couple of showers forecast, the top temp only of 20. So
just sick of it.
So today beautiful, but still haven't really burst out of the spring yet into the warmer weather.
All right, we'll take a quick break here on the Sports Daily and we'll come back afterwards, not too far away from the news. And then after 8 o'clock, we've got Brad Hardie.
On This Day in Sport is brought to you by Loans 123.
What a legend. What a champion.
Who do you see? Steve Sell at loans123.com.au or call 1800 100 100.
If I was to ask you, Diggers, who's the best modern Grand Prix driver in the F1? Modern day?
Modern day? Probably Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, 2018 on this day. Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton finishes 4th in the Mexican GP to win his 5th Formula One World Drivers' Championship.
Right.
Our man Oscar, unfortunately, I think he's done.
Yeah, isn't there a lot of chatter about the car? Continues, doesn't it?
Absolutely. On this day in 2015, we know Game 3's today. In the longest first game of baseball World Series, 5 hours and 9 minutes. Went for 14 innings. The Kansas City Royals beat the New York Mets 5-4. 5-4 in 5 hours.
That wouldn't be your cup of tea, would it?
Sheesh, that's a long time, hey?
Yes, it is.
Just cut to the YouTube highlights. Catch up.
That's about your take on it all.
Oh.
You don't like Test cricket because it goes too long?
No, it's not the length of Test cricket. I'd rather watch Test cricket than one-day internationals.
Yes. It's hard to explain to those who don't follow cricket, though, that you can play for 5 days
and
not get a result. Yeah. You can have over 30 hours out in the middle and you don't get a result.
What you do today? We sat around for 3.5 hours, played cards. It rained.
It rained, yes.
All right, Jeff, you've done that. I can hear you. Birthdays on this day. Couples, 76th birthday today, Caitlyn Jenner. Bruce. And 95th birthday for Bernie Eccleston.
Okay.
Speaking of F1s.
Yes.
95th. All right, that's about it. We'll wrap it up there. We'll go to a break. Brad Hardie on the...
On the Sports Daily, it's time to introduce the 1985 Brownlow medalist from the Footscray Football Club of Brad Hardie. This segment is proudly presented by Retrovision, Loans 123 and Ross's Auctioneers and Valuers. Introducing the boy from Hilton, the AFL guru, Brad Hardie.
Good morning to you, Bradley.
Good morning, Diggers. Good morning, Timmy. TC, good to be with you. So old habits die hard, don't they? Call you anything, but don't call me that. Yeah, boys, well, you had the AFL Commission meeting over your way yesterday. As you're well aware, you would have seen Andrew Dillon and others in town to conduct that particular thing, and part of the protocol was to discuss future rules, and Greg Swan presented to them, obviously, one about the last disposal out, Diggers, and the other one was about, I hope, something to do with the stand rule, which is, hasn't enhanced the game at all and is being exploited somewhat, boys, because how often do you see the blokes actually stand straight away? They're cribbing backwards, aren't they, Diggers? 4 or 5 metres before the umpire goes, stand, and we don't need to hear that down the airwaves too often, so I think that'll be a little bit more regimented next year, but with a view, I'd like to think at some point in the future, boys, I wonder what you think. I'd love to see them get rid of it, to be brutally honest. I don't think it's helped the game at all.
Yeah, I don't mind it, personally. It probably hasn't had the impact, and that is because, as Brad said, and I think the Bulldogs were the first to do it. They, like Luke Beveridge, summed it up very, very quickly, that rule, and said it can be exploited. That was a few years ago now, Brad, and a few other sides have since followed suit. But anything to get the game flowing a little bit more is, in my eyes, a good thing. But you're right, it probably, if you are going to keep it, it needs to be adjudicated a bit more harshly.
My problem with it is that shots on goal, Brad, is when the player can quickly creep out and he takes 2 or 3 steps before the man on the mark can actually try and defend it. You need an umpire sort of behind the play so that man on the mark gets equal opportunity to maybe smother, and it's not as easy to kick a goal around the man on the mark.
No, I agree. I mean, particularly from, say, 55 out, bloke standing 50 metres on a 50-metre arc, I can virtually run up to beside you, kick it, which is bizarre. It is bizarre. And, look, I understand it, and they had the incursion rule there for a while, which used to frustrate everybody. Well, what does frustrate everybody is that players, feign to go with a handball or a kick, and the player moves. I mean, it's just instinct that you do that in the red and gold T-shirts up the local oval on a Sunday morning when you're learning the game. But I just think that they need to, I think it can be, it's just one less thing the umpires would have to worry about. That's all I'm thinking of. And I think that's what they're thinking of as well, because quite clearly what needs addressing is the umpiring, because that's the thing that is the most alarming for most fans who go to the footy.
So is the last touch going to be in next year, do you think?
Yeah, well, not last touch. It's last disposal. So it could be either by kick or by handball. So if you happen to, the ball's bouncing and you happen to get a fingertip on it, but whoever kicked that ball is going to be it's only going to be between the 2 50-metre arcs. Now, in South Australia, they've been using it for a while. They think it helps, but, they're a bit different over there. And they use it for the whole ground. So, it's I'm not sure. It's not going to be like soccer where, the ball goes over the sideline. There's 15 kids ready to throw a ball back to you. You'll have to get it yourself. So I'm not sure it's going to speed the game up. But what it will do is probably reduce boundary throw-ins, and that might help. In one, the other ones that you've hated for a long, long time, Diggers, too, is the, two men up in the same colours free kick.
Oh.
Instead of this nominating, okay, TC, Diggers, you're up, but waste time. I mean, not playing time, but like just wasting time waiting for them to get ready. It's ridiculous. They're trying to reduce their whole cycle of the game, and that's one of the most annoying. We know if two West Coast Eagles jumper goes up against one Fremantle, well, it's a free kick to Fremantle. Done. You don't have to be told.
No,
you don't have to be at under 10 and told, oh, you're jumping and you're jumping.
It's
Stupid.
not that hard to work out, is it? Really?
No, I wouldn't believe so. That's for sure. The other thing, I think, and it's been a little bit of a problem, and we touched on it last year, and we can touch on it again, they have to address. Now, TC, if I said to you the word rookie, or you Diggers, doesn't matter what workplace or what sphere you're in, to me, it's a newbie, someone who maybe not have done it before, somebody who's you'd want to develop, somebody who you doesn't have the experience. Mate, Dane Rampy is 35. He's played 272 games, won at best and fairest, co-captained the club for a period of time. Jake Lloyd's 32. He's played 271 games, two-time club champion award winner, and they're rookie listed. Spare me. What is going on? And last year it was Gunston, because remember we spoke about it, Diggers. He was delisted, re-rookied, kicked 70 and had an All-Australian year this year, and they got the relief of about 80 grand off his salary in the TPP. It's not right. It's just a rort to me.
Couldn't agree more. The clubs are the masters of exploiting loopholes, aren't they, Brad? Be it football departments, be it coaches, and this is an example of that. I concur 100%. What
are the rules around a rookie playing, Brad? There needs to be someone on the long-term injury list, is that right?
No, that used to be. I didn't mind that. I'm with you on that. Look, you might have 36 or 38 thereabouts on your primary list, and then you had 4 to 6 rookies. Now, West Coast have been delivered a few more rookies this year because, and that's why I said they have to be careful. They have to help themselves. They can't go out and get Tom Mitchell, Mason Cox, etc. They can, I suppose, if they really want to push the envelope, but it just doesn't pass the pub test. And I just don't think they want to be going down that line for the future of the footy club. You're better off getting 4 youngsters, a tall and a small and a midfielder and something else that you might want to develop. And, okay, if they don't work out in a couple of years' time, you turn them over. But they're still going to get that list. And that's what it used to be, TC. The only way you could get upgraded from the rookie list is someone was on the long-term injury list or somebody retired mid-season. And that's when they upgraded. I didn't have a problem with that. I thought that was a way to go in regards to using the rookie list. But the way they're using it at the moment, it's just not right. I don't believe anyway.
So you can just play whenever. You can just pick them.
Yep.
Yeah, you can just pick them up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, it's just an extension of your primary list. It's I'm with Brad here.
Would it help maybe the equalisation as well a little bit in terms of maybe Sydney get a couple of, for example, McCartan goes down and then you've got to bring in a young defender as opposed to bringing in Dane Rampy where you sort of hold your own a little bit?
Well, Dane Rampy's nearly a regular starter. And those two are nearly regular starters. So it's not a case of that. It could happen. I agree with what you're saying. But, that was the whole idea. So if Tom McCartan goes down, there's young Digby Beecham. He's a key defender. We'll bring him in, and that's, I get that. But, not the way that they're using it at the moment. It's just using it as a revolving door as a way of, getting a bit of an advantage by having experienced players on their rookie lists and, as I said, getting 80 grand per player relief from their TPP. So, and these blokes aren't playing for nothing. I mean, like the Hacks get 500 these days, so the average is around about 350, 400. So I reckon they'd both be on that, given their longevity and their service to the footy club. It just means that it's 80 grand lighter for each of them along the way. Whereas you bring on a rookie listed player, the 80 grand's 80 grand. That's what they're getting. And it doesn't count. So, that's what you do. So I would think it's just just another way of creative accounting for some of these football clubs, as Digger said, exploiting the ruals.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Sydney Swans, Dane Rampy and Jake Lloyd are going to be delisted and then rookie listed.
Correct, mate. Yeah, so they're going to have an opportunity to extend their careers. And look, I'm not sure they're...
If Sydney are going to be playing in a grand final, I don't think they're playing. Are they playing in their best 23 now?
I think we discussed this, Diggers, last year. TC, you were producing at that stage, and bottom line is, I said, look, I was worried about Dane Rampy at the end of 2024. You know, I thought, well, he's gettable. He is definitely gettable if you get the right forward who's good in the air, can take a mark or good on below their knees and a bit of pace off the mark, you'll get Dane Rampy. But he's been able to be covered. They've needed him there because they've had a few injury worries and they haven't quite got it right. But you're okay. And Lloyd was the ultimate exposer of the kick-in from full-back, wasn't he, Diggers?
Yep.
I mean, he regularly got 28 touches and 12 of them kicking in from full-back,
yep.
You know, where he ran out of the square. So he graduated up to a wing a little bit, but I'm with you. In an ideal world, if Dean Cox and the Swans are to play finals footy next year, which we think they may be able to on paper, with the addition of Charlie Curnow and hopefully Logan McDonald back, I don't think those two would need to be in the team. It's a little bit like Freo in a way this year with Michael Walters and Nat Five, if they were going to, and they made it well, but those two didn't figure prominently in the home and away series.
Maybe with no Florent now, Lloyd has a role, you know, through the midfield, perhaps as that link man, but I think it's fair to say, and they've been wonderful servants for the football club, those two, but I think their best days are behind them.
And the definition of irony, they both started as rookies.
Yeah, I know. Finished their career as rookies. Decorated grand final rookies.
Yeah.
Anything else to come out of the meeting, Brad?
Quite remote. Oh, look, I think there was other things that they would have been discussing, but I think that was Swanee's role in regards to the last disposal out. And as I said, just plant the seed to have a think about the stand rule and how they can improve it for the umpires next year. But I think long term, I think we all think it's not going to last. As Digger said, he doesn't mind it. That's fine. I'm sure there's going to be elements of the commission who do think exactly the same way as Diggers does. So, but I think the proof will be in the pudding. Let's see how the demand to stand works first. And if it doesn't improve, I would think next year it certainly will be on the table again this time next year, I would have thought.
Let's get rid of opening round as well.
You don't like it?
Yeah, well, interesting, St Kilda are pushing it up at the moment now. They want to play Collingwood on the beginning of round one, not round O, but round one, the opening round. I think they want to play it on a Sunday night, and that's all well and good. Now, I'm not sure how they initially picked Carlton and Richmond, Diggers, probably more bums on seats than anything, TC, all those years ago, because they're both well patronised club, to kick off the season. We know we've got round O, and then you go into round one, round O specifically for the northern states in particular. Now, St Kilda, I think they've got to earn their stripes. I think it's one thing wishing. You and I probably want to win Powerball tomorrow night, on Thursday night, Diggers, but you've got to earn your stripes, and I'm not sure St Kilda can come out barking and say, we want to play Collingwood on a Sunday night as the opening round. I think I think there's a few, because to me, they picked the right club to play, because Collingwood fans will go to any game, won't they? Particularly at the MCG, they will fill the joint. But yeah, I think they need to earn it first. There's a difference between earning and promising. So I think that might be shut down pretty quickly, I would have thought.
If you don't ask, you don't get. So you can understand they throw the hat in the ring. What's the worst that can happen? The AFL says no, not yet. As Brad said, you earn your stripes, and we'll revisit this in 12 months.
Do you like opening round?
Yeah,
I don't mind it. It's footy. I'd rather that than, sorry for upsetting people, the state of origin. Give me the opening round. Look, that means something. I know it's a little bit disjointed, but it's proper home and away football, not an exhibition game in the middle of February.
Why don't you have every team play, though?
Well, you could do, but they've elected to do it that way. I think it's working. They'll tell you it's working because all the games, probably bar the one at NG Stadium, the GWS Giants, they're all pretty much sellouts because of it. And now the growth of the Gold Coast is even better. Brisbane Lions, obviously, the reigning premiers again. So there's an element there. But at times, it's an opportunity, I think. I don't think Collingwood want to do it this year. But, it is an opportunity for some of the Broadway clubs, I call them over here, TC, in Melbourne, to go north, which they don't normally do or they don't go to Tasmania because the grounds just don't hold enough for to house the numbers that these clubs bring.
you could have every interstate side outside of Melbourne host a game, and then I think that would end up having one Melbourne game on the, whatever, if they make that the Sunday.
So you want to have one in Perth, one in Adelaide, one in Queensland, one in Sydney? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you could even have two. You could have West Coast host on a Saturday and Fremantle host on a Sunday, or vice versa.
Yeah, I think we're going to be hard. I mean, we're going to come up with any way you like, but I think you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. But the bottom line is that, I don't think we're going to get much movement there, because I think they're pretty happy with, again, bums on seats, peepers, and Diggers and I concur. You'd rather have some football than none, put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with that. Autumn Glow has come up with barrier 9 for Saturday's Golden Eagle.
Linebacker 5.
Linebacker 5, so... That's where we sit at the moment, Bradley, for that $10 million feature at Rose Hill on Saturday. J-Mac to ride as she chases win number 8 from start number 8.
She's pretty special, isn't she? So, I think, what do they put up, even money? I think she might even firm up a little bit now. You'd think linebacker, but linebacker can put in one and then a really good one, and then he not so, So, I think she's obviously with the consistency, 8 for 8. I think she's the one to beat. There's no doubt about that, boys.
Your young horse trial on yesterday, Brad, or was it the week before?
Jomar?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit strange. She jumped out. It wasn't sort of what we were hoping for. She was good, but she wasn't great, So she might be heading for the paddock. I think TC just a little bit more time. She's still growing. We think she's going to get over a bit of distance. So she showed a bit of speed there the other day, but knocked up a little bit when the others came up and around her. So we'll see how she goes. But she's got a bit of ability. We'll see how she goes.
Where's Swingman?
He'll be back Saturday. Coming up Saturday. So nominated for the prelude of the Placid Arc, and hopefully in a fortnight's time after that, he'll be amongst the starters for the Placid Arc. So that's what we're hoping for, and he's been terrific for us. So we're looking forward to seeing him back on Saturday.
Lovely. Anything else before we let you go?
No, it's all pretty much, obviously the Sheffield Shield today you would have spoken about. There's some great games right around the country. Cam Green in from WA over your way, boys just down the road or across the street from wherever you are. And of course, Victoria's already started, and there's going to be a lot on Weatherall, how he goes. And Bo Webster's back in for Tassie. And of course, up at the Gabba, they've got, Renshaw's trying to make a last dash. He's got a bit of weight behind him, hasn't he, Diggers? You've got to have a PR machine. You've got, Border and Chappell and Fleming, and pushing his name. But I think it's Jake Weatherall. I think if he can get some runs against Victoria at the Junction Oval over the next 4 days, boys, he looks like he's probably the man to fill in that opening position. So we'll wait and see. And as I say, it doesn't look as though Cam Green's going to bowl, does he, Diggers? I don't think he's going to bowl in this game, is he? By the seam, and Doggett's back, isn't he? I think for South Australia. So remember, he was the travelling spare for the World Test Championship TC, and he also was nominated. I think he was named to play in the first Test against the Windies, and he injured his hip and didn't play. So without Cummins, I think they're looking maybe just for backup. A player, so he might come into calculation. So we'll see how they fare between now and Thursday when we talk again, boys.
All right, so the Vics are 2 for 38, and it's a little bit wet at the Gabba, so they haven't got that game underway just yet.
Okay.
10:30 here at the Wacker, being WA playing today.
Magic day here today, boys. 18, not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful. 24 hours ago, we had thunderstorms, tornadoes. Hailstorms, sun, you name it.
Gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? Victorian weather, Melbourne weather. Oh, my.
Yeah, it certainly does. So, boys, we're here for Mortz. He's a Group 1 Mortz. He's been absolutely outstanding, a supporter of ours for a long, long time now from Retrovision. You've got the text line going there. Yeah, the Nude Nut, loans123.com.au. You can do things the banks can't, you know that. And don't forget Frankie Lee at Ross's, Oxen, statewide, all over the place, whatever you need, particularly on a Friday afternoon if you want a good bottle of vino, boys. I look forward to talking to you on Thursday.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Brad Hardie there, the 1985 Brownlow medalists. Now, it takes a little while to get just to the rain radar now on the Bureau website, Diggers. A little bit tougher than it used to be, but I don't think play's getting underway there anytime soon.
in
Brisbane.
Right. Wet.
Oh, looking at that, yeah, there's a couple of fronts coming through.
Well, that's good because every time we speak to Chris Nelson, or it seems like every time we speak to Chris Nelson, he says it's dry. It's dry. He's had to put water in the pool. So tomorrow when we have a chat, he can inform us that it's been nice and wet.
Oh, we know it's wet. I can see.
Exactly, which is good. It's a pleasant change.
Oh, you're happy that it's wet?
Absolutely.
Oh, right. Okay. We just chatted to Brad Hardie.
Brad Hardie is proudly presented by Retrovision, Loans 123, and Ross's Auctioneers and Valuers. Retrovision, lowest price guaranteed. RAC members save 5%. Loans 123 for all your loan needs. Call Steve Sell on 1800 100 100. Ross's Auctioneers and Valuers, the leading auctioneering firm in WA.
Tab Radio, your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Welcome back to the Sports Daily on this Tuesday morning. Taylor Cortland and Digby Beecham with you. About 10 minutes or so, we'll catch up with Oli Cownie to preview pacing here at Gloucester Park this afternoon. Of course, we've got the NBA special. The game tips off at 10 o'clock. The special runs up until 9 o'clock. Diggers, we've got the Golden State Warriors just to win. They need to be. Why are you laughing?
Oh, I'm just looking at this NFL game at the moment. Both quarterbacks are throwing interceptions as they've got close to scoring, so that's good. 132 up to $2. Golden State to beat Memphis. That special runs until 9 a.m. Tab Touch account holders only. A max stake of 30.
Yep. All right, and that game gets underway at 10 o'clock. That tips off at 10 o'clock, so you can have the bet and you don't have to wait too long. On your lunch break, you can watch it, and then if you're working today, you can have the ESPN app up. Jason from Swanview, Doggett, ? Surely he would only be a backup option at best, and the Aussies have Stark, Hazelwood and Boland as the quicks, and if Green is only playing as a batsman in the Shield game, then Webster has to play in the first test ahead of him in order that we have the extra genuine bowling option.
That won't happen. Cameron Green will play ahead of Webster if he is fit.
The Aussies are in serious trouble if Boland, Stark and Hazelwood can't get the job done.
Correct.
Along with Lyon.
Correct.
And then Head can bowl 1 or 2 overs here and there.
And it's the age-old argument as well, TC. Everyone says, you'll play the fourth seamer because we've got conditions to suit. Well, if your 3 frontline seamers can't get the job done in conducive conditions, the fourth might be a bit of a stretch. So that's why you'll see more often than not these days 3 seamers or 3 quicks and 1 spinner, because that spinner adds the diversity.
Simo from Waruna, repeated stoppages are ruining footy. No prior opportunity is the worst rule in footy. If a player takes possession of the ball and gets tackled and doesn't kick or hand pass the ball, it is holding the ball or dropping the ball. Pay the free kick to the tackler and move the game on. Reduce repeated stoppages.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of an eyesore, isn't it? The repeated stoppages. It happens, and some, and you'll see it in big games or finals where the pressure is dialed up and there's just no free space. Not until the game breaks open, and they can be quite combative, sort of arm-to-arm combat, isn't it? And it's hard for the ball to, see some green grass. It just gets bottled up, and it does become very frustrating as a supporter.
Yep.
But you know what the coaches and captains and all of that are trying to do. If that's the way to hopefully beat a opposition side into submission, well, that's what you do.
Yep, absolutely. Lisa from Allenbrook, the Wildcats are saying trust the process. We will trust the process when we see the performance consistently brought on the court. It's their offence and defensive structure that's causing the problems. And just before we get your response to that, Diggers, here's David Duke Jr., who caught up with the media yesterday after arriving in Perth. He was asked what he can bring to the Wildcats.
Yeah, my biggest strength for sure is my defense. I think at the guard position, being a bigger guard, being able to cause havoc on that end, and then playing in transition is also one of my strengths as well. So I think just a bit of those two are the main 2 things that I will be able to bring to this team.
So that's David Duke Jr., who has NBA experience, spoke very well in the media. He said defense is all about effort. He continued to speak about that. So hopefully everything that he said was right. If he brings that to the court, big tick. But having said that, everything we read about Mason Jones sort of fit into this team at the Wildcats, and that didn't work out.
No, it didn't. And respectfully, the Perth Wildcats aren't the first side in the NBL to get it wrong with an import. They've got it wrong on many times previously, as have every other club. There's no tried and true formula. You don't just wake up and say, yep, we've identified this import. He's going to be a success. So the Wildcats hit a road bump. Hit a bump in the road with Mason Jones. Hopefully now with David Duke Jr., they've got a player who can complement that offence. Potentially offensively, they're okay. There's no blue there. Defensively, that's the issue. And to be fair, it has been the issue under John Riley.
Yes. So is that the main issue, or is personnel the issue?
With the Wildcats?
Coaching scheme or personnel?
Well, I think any side that loses Bryce Cotton, personnel is at the forefront of the conversation.
Oh, defensively, I mean.
Oh, defensively. Sorry. Well, I think it's a bit of both. I think it's, for mine, yeah, of course there's structures and there's systems and everything, but if you want to defend, you can defend.
Yeah.
You know, like the two of the great defenders in NBA history are Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Like, LeBron James can flat out defend when he wants to. Michael Jordan was an elite defender. Steph Curry, for all his offensive traits, and it's a skill set which we haven't seen in the league previously. Defensively, when he wants to, he's outstanding. The good players can do it. But do they want to do it, or do they want to be up the other end of the floor scoring the points? Very rarely does a defensive player of the year garner as much attention as the offensive player of the year.
Yep. Danny Earls texted in on the Retrovision text line as well. First up, off a setback with his aim the Guineas. Don't think King of Light was screwed down either.
No, he was very, very good over an unsuitable 1,200 metres on Saturday. So look for him in the Faritha and also the Guineas to be awfully hard to beat.
Oh, Slammer's gone bang. Half yours will not run the 2 miles.
Right, okay. Well, we'll find out. He'll run it. Hopefully. He'll run it. It's just how quickly he runs at Slammer.
That old chestnut.
That old chestnut. No, look, it's hard to poke holes in his form. He carries 53 kilos. He's a progressive horse. He's effective in all conditions. Hopefully he goes there and runs the race of his life.
Yep, absolutely. Jason from Swanview again. The best way to kill a snake is to cut off the head. Therefore, the Wildcats need to lose Riley and Mills. True.
Yeah, there's a few people out there that have got that view. I'm not sure it's happening anytime soon, Jason. Not while Mark Arena is as hands-on as he is. He was there yesterday getting a photo with David Duke Jr. He's
If they miss the finals, are they in trouble? Riley and Mills?
Well, he's contracted for another 2-3 seasons, John. I think 27. I know, I agree, but it seems as if Mark is very, very much a believer in both John and Danny, and that's good. That's what you want from your owner. You want your owner to have the back of the 2 main men in your organisation. And Danny and John, this is their roster. This is now their team. So they've assembled it. Danny and John have assembled it, and now it's over to John and his coaches to extract everything they can out of it.
Speaking of coaches that have been sacked, Brian Kelly at LSU, the football coach. See his payout?
Go.
50 million.
50 million as a college coach.
Yep. LSU wanted its coach Brian Kelly gone. It could cost $54 million.
$54 million. Wowee. Ridiculous money, isn't it? College football.
College coach.
Oh,
dear me. Be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
You let go and get that payout.
Huge money, isn't it?
All right, we'll have a quick break. We'll head to Oli Cownie after this and try and find some winners at Gloucester Park.
Red Tab Radio, your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
And of course, Diggers, today brought to us by the Gate Bar and Bistro. The information there about their Melbourne Cup luncheon. Let us know what the tickets include.
Yeah, well, the tickets are only $49, so they are available at thegatebarandbistro.com.au, but it's a garden party, so you can enjoy the Melbourne Cup outdoors in the Gate's new beer garden. Tickets include a drink on arrival, a mystery bet, along with canopies, a hot food station, as I said, outdoors at Perth's best beer garden with all the TAB facilities that you need, and also a live band. $49 only, TC, so wonderful value there for the first Tuesday in November.
No better place to go. Drink a little bit too much and then head to work Wednesday with a hangover. Hopefully full pockets.
Exactly right. That's the most important thing. Full pockets.
All right, we'll try and help you find a couple of winners.
Yep.
Melbourne Cup Day here on the Sports Daily on that day. Typically we don't have a show, but we'll be a little bit different this year, and we'll just try and find as many winners around the country as we can. I think there's 137 meetings that day.
Yeah, there's plenty of them.
3 in WA.
3 in WA. Geraldton, Bunbury and also here at Ascot. Good card hopefully is going to be assembled at Ascot, headlined by the Burgess Queen, as has been the tradition for the past few years.
This WA Harness Racing Preview is brought to you by Retrovision. TVs, computers, electrical appliances and homewares. Retrovision is your retailer of choice. Retrovision, 60 years strong in WA with 18 stores statewide. RAC members receive an additional 5% every day at Retrovision.
Good morning to you, Ollie.
Morning, Taylor. Morning, Digby. It's a pretty exciting week in harness racing this week with the WA Derby coming up, and there's been a bit of a sensation the last few days with the short price favourite not being nominated for the race. So I'm really excited for the week coming up and the racing today at Gloucester Park.
All right, well, let's look at this night event card at headquarters here at GP. The first gets underway at 4:20, Ollie, over the 1,730 metres, This is a 2-year-old maiden event, and the 7 Too Far Away Ted for Chris Vogt is the $2.70 tab touch favourite.
Yeah, and it certainly looks hard to beat. Too Far Away Ted has quite good gate speed, and I think it looks a race where he might be able to launch across, and if he leads, then I think he's going to be pretty hard to catch. Chris Vogt indicated he would try and lead yesterday when talking to Matt Young on open pacing, so I think that'll be the play there. He has led previously and probably didn't run his best race, but I think he's gotten better with time and he's going to be really hard to beat. Ravenous, who's drawn underneath him, has quite good gate speed, but it was used at the last start and probably didn't run its best race. So if it did get across, it might take a sit on. Too Far Away, Ted. Someline is a horse that's shown good ability, hasn't been too far away in its last few starts, but I don't think it's quite going at its absolute best. So I think from a wide draw, it looks a little bit awkward for that horse, but certainly one that's going to be right there in the placings. Night Sniper is a horse that's shown good ability, and it returns in this race. It draws on the back row, which usually looks a little bit awkward over the 1,700, but there's nothing else on the back row. So this horse has options, and I don't think it'll be too far away in the run, and can certainly be hard to hold out late. And Texas Storm, it draws wide in this race, but it has been racing well and comes into this race third up. So it's going to be nearing peak fitness and should be hard to hold out as a result. 7, 8, 10, 9.
That's in race number 1. Race number 2, Ollie. The short price favourite at $1.38 is Major Typhoon.
Yeah, and this horse fibrillated last start when leading and looking the likely winner. Since gone back to the trials and won really impressively there, running home a pretty slick last half. This looks a really, really weak race compared to what it was taking on last start. And I think if Major Typhoon is able to find the front over the 2,100 here at Gloucester Park, it's just going to be too hard to catch. So have Major Typhoon firmly on top, would have made it my best of the day, but has been pretty well supported. So going to look elsewhere. Miss Vincenza has been going well in recent starts and ran a good second last start. Looks a little bit of an awkward draw, whether they go back or push forward at the start. But either way, I think this horse is going to be right there in the placings. Sagander is a horse that's going quite well. Scored a good win 3 starts ago in a pretty nice race. So I think this company looks quite suitable. The wide draw looks awkward. Probably a horse that does need to be sat up and say for one run at them late from a wide draw. But if the race is run to suit, can certainly see her running into it late. Sheer Rock Lady scored a good win there at Pinjarra last start in a pretty strong race as well. She has shown previously that she can do a bit of work in her races, so that might be the play from Gate 9 today. And if she gets the race run to suit, she can certainly be somewhere there at the finish, but the draw does look a little bit tricky. 3, 5, 8, 9.
3, 5, 8, 9 in the second. Ollie, the third is over the 21.30 at 5.28.
I think the way this race plays out early is probably Penny Noir is the one that gets to the pegs in the early stages and likely looks to hold the lead. he was just forced to do a lot of work last start, and he didn't appreciate that. And his run prior, he was pretty good there. And Gary Hall Jr., he jumps back on. So I think this horse is going to be better for that, and he's going to run a pretty good race out in front. But I'm keen to put Bodine Hunter on top, who was really good again last start. He was able to nose out Pinny Noir 4 seconds, was just beaten by Charivari, who we saw go around in one of the Derby Prelude races recently, and he went around one of the favourites. So that looks pretty good form for a race of this nature. I think Bodine Hunter can press forward, sit in the breeze, or find the lead, and either way, he's going to be really hard to catch. Uoma is probably going to be better for that run. Last start, he was scratched recently and then may have needed that last start run. His first up effort was terrific there, was only beaten by a good horse in fast time there at Pinjarra. So I think third up into this race, he's going to be nearing peak fitness. And if he was able to secure a really good run 1-1, I think he'd be pretty hard to hold out late. And then Fabulous Dream is another horse that has good ability but draws a bit wide in this race. And it does look a bit awkward, but this horse has a good turn of foot. And if it's run to suit, I think Fabulous Dream can be one of the ones that's running right into the finish late. 6, 5, 4, 7.
Race number 4 on the program, Sagandi is the favourite at $3.50.
Yeah, it is the favourite, and I think it deserves to be. But it is a bit of an awkward draw out there in 7, and it's a pretty tricky drive in the early stages, whether this horse presses forward and looks to find a prominent position in the race, or is taken back and hope for a bit of speed on. But either way, I think it is racing well. Was a really dominant winner 2 starts ago, and then just got a long way back last start and ran into a good 4th. But I think it's going to be hard to beat in this. Our Major Jack, I think, is a horse that can likely press forward, and there should be cover coming at some stage. Admiral Darcy did a bit of work last start, and he might be a horse that gives Our Major Jack or Siangdi a bit of cover in this race. I think Admiral Darcy showed that last start he's somewhere nearer his best form. He was forced to do a lot of work in that race and was still battling out the finish, and he actually was able to beat Wandering Girl home in that race 4 second, and Wandering Girl is one of the horses that's in the market for this race. So that looks pretty good form, and I think despite the wide draw, can be somewhere thereabouts. And Wandering Girl has a good draw, but did secure a really soft run last start and was still only able to manage third. So I think Wandering Girl is one for the minor money, but I'd be surprised if she was able to take out this race. 7, 5, 9, 1.
Race 5 is for the mares, Ollie, over the 1730 at 6:36.
Yeah, and Watch Me Wave, she's the favourite for this race and looks incredibly hard to beat. She loves racing over this journey, and her recent efforts have been super. 3 starts ago was sitting in the breeze there and was just run down by Era, which didn't look for the best form at the time, but since Era has been super in a few races, and that form looks really good now. And 2 starts ago, she was able to score a dominant win there at Gloucester Park over the 2100. She found the front and raced away to score a big win over Sonic Sealster. So I think this race, Watch Me Wave, she can press forward. She can look to sit outside the leader, or if she does lead, she's going to be too hard to catch. But either way, I think she clearly looks hardest to beat in this race. Icy Cold is another horse that loves racing over this trip, and she was a good third last start in probably what was a slightly stronger race. So I think she really has to be respected. And if Watch Me Wave is parked in this race, I think Icy Cold really comes in as a strong chance. Unlucky was a good winner last start and secured a soft run there. Drawing gate 8 this time makes it a lot tougher, but she's certainly seeming to get back closer to somewhere near her best, and she is a horse that can do a bit of work, so she might look to press forward and find a prominent position. Simply the Best is a horse that's going okay at the moment with a good winner 2 back and can secure a good run somewhere off the speed in this race. 5, 9, 8, 6.
Race number 6 on the program, Ollie. He's Thunder favourite at 2.15.
Yeah, and he took on probably what was a stronger race last start in a stand start, which was taken out by G. Smith on the weekend, and that looks pretty good form for this race. Drops a long way back in class, 2 and up to 45. He did a bit of work in that race on the weekend. I think he can do the work here if he is forced to, but there's every chance he might roll to the top, and if he rolls to the top, I think he's going to be incredibly hard to beat in this race. Sonic Steelstar, for a while there, he probably wasn't going his best, but his last couple of runs have been really good, and he draws quite suitably here on the back row. He's a horse that probably wouldn't want to do too much early work, but he's got a good trailing draw here, and I think he can be running on late. Jillaby Jake, he's a horse that's never too far away in his races. He comes into this race fourth up from a spell, and he's probably getting closer to peak fitness. So in this type of grade, I certainly think he can be hard to hold out with the right run if there is a bit of speed on. And Suede, he's a horse that rarely wins, but he's often in the money, so I think he's going to be in the money again in this race. 7, 11, 12, 6.
Okay, we need to push through these last three, Ollie. Race 7 over the 21.30 at 7.40.
This race looks interesting. The fancy in the race draws awkwardly, and Rockstar Quality on the back row has run a good couple of races recently and going to be hardest to beat, but has had that poor draw to overcome. Reel Him In has been racing pretty well. It was a good second 2 starts ago. Another one that has a bit of an awkward draw. Certainly going to be hard to beat, but does need a little bit of luck. Ginnivan, if he was able to find the front, he'd be incredibly hard to catch, but there does look a bit of speed underneath him, and Tell It in Heaven is a horse that's going okay at the moment, can be running on late. 12, 11, 7, 6.
Race number 8 on the program, the $1.90 favourite is Majestic Gaga.
Yeah, and this is the horse I have a share in, along with Aristotle. I think Majestic Gaga is going to be really hard to beat in this race. She's quite well handicapped off 20 metres. She's shown she probably is the best trotter in the state, and I think as a result she's going to be very hard to hold out. Aldebaran Boyd, he's been good recently. He's got a good win a couple of starts ago from that stand start, and I think he's certainly going to get the all the favours from. He's got a more favourable draw than Majestic Gaga, so if he is able to make the most of that, he might be able to find a prominent position in the race and run into the money somewhere. Then That's Not My Gate has really returned to form. Was good 2 starts ago and then was a massive win the last start. 30 metres looks tough here. And Aristotle ran some good races out in front in Victoria. If he steps well, I think he'll lead and be pretty hard to run down in this race. 6, 5, 7, 1.
Okay, and we round it out with a maiden over the 21.30 at 8.45.
This race looks pretty tough. I put Diva's Spirit on top, who's drawn a bit wide in this race, but there's no real confidence there. First up for a new stable here. Trialled really, really poorly there recently, so taking that one on trust. Looks to have good ability. Think it is the hardest to beat, but certainly a bit of a query there. Lady of Leith has good gate speed, and I think a couple of starts ago ran a pretty good race there. Comes into this race third up, took on a stronger race last start. Think could run a bit of a race here from a good draw. Neil Dolly has shown some ability, trialled okay, pretty slow time, but could certainly find a prominent position in this race and can be running into it late. And Northern Soul is a horse that showed ability at trials, but then did just about everything it could wrong on debut and ran 6th there. But if it puts everything together, it certainly can be hard to beat. 7, 1, 4, 9.
Who's the best?
The best is race 5, number 5, Watch Me Wave.
Thank you very much, Ollie. Chat soon.
Thanks, guys.
There's Oli Cownie taking a look at Gloucester Park, all those markets with Tab Touch up and going now. If you missed anything from the Sports Daily this morning, tabradio.com.au. You can catch up with the podcast there or just search the Sports Daily anywhere you listen to your podcasts, and you can catch up with the likes of John O'Shea, Simon Miller, Paddy Carbery. Jason Walsh spoke about the chances Godolphin have heading towards Saturday there at Flemington.
What was the one takeaway for you today?
Hopefully West Star gets back. John O'Shea was quite confident about linebacker v Autumn Glow.
Yeah. We read those barrier draws out. You said linebacker 5. The mare drew 9.
Yes. And Patrick Carbery, as was Bernie Miller when we spoke to him a while ago, very confident about the return of Joker's Grin.
Looking forward to seeing him back.
Should be pretty hard to beat. 1,000 metres. His absolute best, probably not, but he's certainly good enough to win at 1,000 metres. Jason Walsh, take away from Jason Walsh. Baywalk and Tentire, not too much difference there.
No.
Couldn't separate them.
No, but they've got a really strong hand at Flemington on the weekend, have they not?
Very confident observer, runs the 2,500 metres as well.
At his 4th start this time in the last start. Vars winner, who's having a quiet week.
I thought they had the danger as well. Options.
Yeah, for Tony and Kelvin. Hopefully it's a big carnival for that stable as well.
Absolutely. They've already had one, and hopefully they're in the spotlight again on Tuesday. Catch up with you tomorrow, Diggers.
Good on you, mate.